Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Paper Dungeon. Aaron, what's so funny?
I muted Grant immediately as we
He muted me right when we started. I didn't even say anything.
That is funny. This is episode 7 of chapter 2. We are very excited to be playing. Seven? Is that a 7?
7?
7?
Is that a
Anyway,
seven?
Flip yours. Okay.
oh, it's flipped for me.
No,
so I
no,
gotta go
Aaron,
like
flip
that?
yours. Yeah, there you go.
What's happening?
It's a
Nice.
7.
We're making 7s. Anyway, we are super excited to be playing.
What?
We do have a few announcements to go over beforehand. We didn't actually talk about this beforehand. So my cast will go through their normal announcements, and then I'll announce all the fancy ones because I wrote them down. Sound good, friends?
Let's go fast. Let's go fast.
All right,
Good.
Aaron, you're first.
All right, sup, losers. We have a website. On our website, we have a merch store. It's www.thepaperdungeon.com. You can buy stuff like shirts that have like our, I forgot which side of my logo was on, and hats. And speaking of merch stores, Lily also has a merch store where she sells shirts, shorter shirts, those are crop tops, pillows, and other such things. Additionally, Lydia, do you still have a waiting list, or is it like full
Commissions are open.
Its commissions are open.
Let's go, baby.
And you could be one of the, well, you could order a commission is what I'm trying to say. And you should, because Lydia's very good at her job. All of our overlays, all of her character art, anything that's like art, Lydia did it.
The whole thing that you're looking at, aside from our faces, is Lydia.
No, Lydia did that too.
I did those too.
Well,
I was arted by Lydia 2
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago.
call her Michelangelo because I got the face of David.
Whoa, that was
Looking absolutely
good.
chiseled.
And I got the arms of God.
Just a little bit of blasphemy. Yeah.
Other than that, we also have a Discord, and if you're not on it, you're doing
Hurry.
it wrong. You're blowing it. So get on there. It's great. We have a bunch of cool stuff happen. Blah 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 blah. It's really cool if you're on there. You can get cool stuff if you're a subscriber, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But that's all my regular plugs. I think, guys.
All right, Lydia.
Hey, we're not just on Twitch. We're on other places as well. We're not as active on the other places, but you can still go follow us there. We got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, technically Facebook, but don't go to the Facebook.
We don't talk about Facebook.
We don't talk about Facebook. But yeah, so make sure to go follow us for Paper Dungeon on all those.
Thanks. And Grant.
All right, welcome in Wander, Hansuke, Prodigy, and I Am Magic. I'm so happy to see you all, as well as Dragon at Rest. Welcome to the stream, podcast listeners, YouTube viewers. You could be here with us.
Blur yourself.
We could say hello to all of you if you just come on stream. We're happy you're listening. We're happy you're watching. We love saying hi to people on stream. And if you have Amazon Prime, you have a free sub. You can drop that right now if you have it. Or you can show up to Twitch, drop it to our channel. It's super helpful. I think that's about it. Thanks for watching and listening, guys.
Also, podcast.
Hello to all the people in the Twitch chat that Grant didn't say hi to.
Hi to everybody.
Sorry.
And Mass, hello.
Thank you, guys. We do have a few fun announcements as well. Not that those aren't fun, but these are super fun. As you guys have heard, if you've been keeping up with the Between the Rows, no, actually not, because it's only been 2 episodes of Between the Rows out? What episode?
Only one.
One episode. Only one.
And we forgot to put it in the first episode. So our beautiful boy right over here to my bottom right on your screen.
Bottom left. Oh, I got it. Okay, continue.
Anyway, joined up with a few other creators to create the Mist Manuscripts, a series of settings, if I'm correct. With short stories
I got it if you'd
Do
like. Yes, the Mist Manuscripts, it is on DM's Guild. It is kind of like an add-on to Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. It contains 6 dark domains that were all written by a bunch of incredible creators. I am one of them. I don't know if I'd the incredible because I'm super humble and cool. But it is pay what you want, and I think the recommended price that we have right now is $1.50. What we recommend, because any income made from now until Halloween will be donated to Jasper's Game Day. But because it's DM's Guild, WotC takes 50% of the donation. So we recommend that you pay whatever you want for the book, and then just go donate what you actually want to directly to Jasper's Game Day.
Yeah.
additionally, on Halloween, that's when the cutoff is, because a bunch of people will be price matching whatever amount that we generate in that time. So me, the person who like headed the thing, and like one other person in the group will be matching up to a certain limit. If we manage to hit it, like I'm at 400. So if we hit $500, I will throw an additional 400 and see how great we can get.
Yeah.
Other than that, we'll match the total price. So join it. It's a super great thing. They did an incredible job. It was really awesome.
Exactly. So definitely go check that out. It's super rad. Really, really cool. Aaron's been a part of like a group on Twitter
They're
for
crazy,
Ravenloft
dog.
for years now. And so it's really awesome that he's now getting to put out piece of content for that setting and everything like that. And it's going to a really great cause. Definitely go check that out.
Drop the link in chat. Oh, jeez.
That'd be great. Then, if you're not here this Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, to watch the second episode of BTR, Between the Rows, Sins of the Father, Season 3, what are you doing with your life aside from wasting it? Okay, that's what's going on. If you haven't seen the first 2 seasons, you definitely should go catch up on those. I believe they've been streamed in the Discord.
Yeah.
Yes, so definitely go check out those, or just go check them out on YouTube or wherever else you can find our stuff, podcasts, all that type of stuff, because it's awesome. And the second episode is coming out tonight. They're going to be on Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, our normal streaming time, just on Wednesdays from here throughout the rest of the month, aside from the very last episode, which is the 6th episode, which will
finale.
Be on the 31st, on Halloween. And we're taking over the Monday stream for BTR. It's going to be great. So definitely check that out as well.
Between the Rows, Sins of the Father.
Perfect. And then last but not least, we've been talking about it for a little while, and it finally happened. We recorded our duo shot for Abinthy Triplewitz and Edward and Fellows. It was super fun. It was really chaotic. This is a duo shot going over a little adventure that those two found themselves in over the 3-year break in the timeline of our main campaign. If you want to check that out, it is currently only on our Patreon and only for our Patreoneers. It's going to stay like that until December 1st. And then it will be released only to our Twitch subscribers and our Patreoneers. So you either have to be a Twitch subscriber and wait the 2 years, or if you want to see it as soon as possible, go subscribe to us on Patreon, and you'll get instant access to it.
And by 2 years, he actually means 2 months.
Oh,
and if you're a sub, you'll get access to it through the Discord as well.
Exactly.
So you better be on there.
That's right.
You better be on there.
That's going to be
That was
released
so much information.
this Friday. Okay,
Yep.
This Friday. So check it out this Friday. Grant, do you have a time?
This
Let's
Friday.
Just to put you on the spot.
I mean, let's do normal time, 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
CST.
Friday night, Central Standard Time is when that will be released to our Patreon. And then we'll have another piece of content, a little duo shot with Renaya and Leshka, actually, even though Catherine's back, but it's going to be with Renaya and Leshka as they get themselves caught up in a little party at the Scholar's Guide, a little fun time over the course of the 3-year break as well. And that will also be the same thing released to the Patreon and then eventually to the subs, all the whole 9 yards.
There's so much information.
Oh yeah,
Be
and
on the lookout for that.
since Leshka dies this episode, that's going to be the only other chance you're ever going to see to like hear Leshka again. So
Shout out to Podcast for listening through this entire intro. I bet it's like 6 minutes long at least.
Okay, because my ADD brain didn't register all that. Basically, Wednesday Between the Rows, Friday cool Patreon content. Check it out.
So here's the schedule.
Done.
Monday,
Oh my God,
my
we're not going
Wednesday
over this
Between
again.
the Rows.
Dear Lord,
Thursday
please go into the
table scraps,
episode. My
and
brain,
Friday-
I'm gonna leave.
do it. I dare you.
oh no,
Don't make me sing. Don't make me sing, DJ.
She just scoots out of frame. So,
You-
like we
you
said,
asked for
check out
that.
those 4 pieces of content that we have for you guys. Only tomorrow night is the only night that we don't have content for you. So go check it all out. Drew, roll the clip before Lydia yells at me.
Ooh.
already did.
Welcome to Nico Muris, a world of lost legend and forgotten lore. As the world, still recovering from the decimation of the trial, approaches the turn of the century, ancient evil returns with a lust for darkness and ruin. Follow us into a planar conspiracy as powers beyond your imagination plot the downfall of all that is right and good. 3 years have passed since our heroes fought a war to reclaim a fallen land. Now, they must once again take up arms and write a new story, a tale of glory, fear, and fortune, as they make their way through the Paper Dungeon.
All right, and we are back. So, Lydia, you having a good time yet?
You all going the hand of God. It's like in sync with the
Little behind
Hand
the
of God
scenes.
is what we call Drew's countdown. to
There's
live.
countdown into
The
the
hand of
video.
God.
We call it the hand of
I
God.
always say the hand
Literally
of God.
all of them go
descendeth
the hand of
upon
God
the realm
as
of
like Drew's
man.
on 2.
The hand of God has descended upon the mortal realm.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we do.
So, in the last several episodes, since the restart of this campaign, our players have found themselves in a search for their friend Cather, along with a few other little side quests. You guys got together to reminisce over old times and to get away from the busyness of politics, to look into questions about Ruat and being the Halak and the Anathema. You learned new friends, had information about several different topics. And over the last 7 episodes, or 6 episodes, I should say, you guys have met a new archdevil. You've reunited with Grotz, aside from Renaya.
Everyone except the one who's in a relationship has talked to Gratz.
Exactly.
So far,
Uh,
all the stuff listed I haven't done.
You guys have
2 things.
fought dragons and golems and opened a new library in the Scholar's Guide, and then quickly, unfortunately,
And
watched it get
then
destroyed.
closed it immediately.
Quote
You guys
unquote
have
closed.
gone to Sigil, been kicked out of Sigil, or actually really prevented from being
we kicked ourselves out.
allowed into
Thank
Sigil.
you.
You guys have broken into the high
Vault of
vault
avarice.
of a warmongering country to steal a vast amount of Vestrusium, a good chunk of it, to bring to a mage that you guys just met and relived your best lives, but also somehow your worst nightmare. All in doing that so that you can get back into Sigil through some back alleyways. And finally, eventually, in the last episode, you guys did find yourselves back in Sigil after talking to Adelar Crave, the High Mage of Wisteria Vale, a city-state under the control of Avarice. You guys got to hang out in Wisteria Vale. It was a great time. But you talked to Adelar, and he was able to get you back into the city of Sigil. When you guys found yourselves there, it was still in lockdown. You saw much damage to many of almost the exact same buildings, a lot of it looking to be elemental in nature. But after a little while, some good talking, some hanging out, you guys were able to finally find Cather Ebenthar. You then had a great time running from the local police, the Modrons, ditching and diving and keeping everything from coming after you, before eventually you found yourselves on a teleportation circle that you jerry-rigged and hijacked to actually allow yourself out of here, and to not only just allow yourselves out of here, allow you guys to cast a banishment spell?
Yeah.
Something like
Through a
that.
teleportation circle to leap over the magical barriers that lock this plane down and return to the material plane. When you did, you guys found yourselves back in Gambit's Keep, back in your home, tired but excited. And we left off the episode with Atrosil, the prime god of the war domain, giving Cather a little kiss on the cheek and explaining how she missed him. We are going to start the next day.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Is there
DM,
something
if
you
I
guys
may
would
be
like to
so,
do
if
that
I
night?
may be so inclined, during the evening, as everyone was going to bed, Leshka actually approached the landkeeper's hut that
The landkeeper's hut.
Abinthy stays in to have a quick, hopefully quick, conversation with him before
2
bed.
hours later.
I half expected you to say that Leshka goes find Cather
Yes,
because you play both. It was, yeah.
that way I could just make Lydia upset by having the first thing I do be that I talk to myself.
Yes, exactly. For an hour.
She's doing the old-timey fist wind up.
I would love.
Why
honestly,
I oughta?
Why I
Why I ought to give
Oh,
you
yeah,
a
do it,
knuckle
do it, do it.
sandwich.
Anyway,
Do it.
so yeah, so
Why I oughta.
Leshka so Leshka approaches the hovel and gives a slight knock.
If I remember correctly, I believe I attempted to end the episode before Deidre was like, "No, that's my job," and I opened the door, and Abinthy says, "Ah, hello. I expected you may have some questions. Come on in." And I lead him inside the hut. It's a humble living space. Over in the corner, there is a loom that currently has the tapestry that Abinthy carries with him all the time stretched out on it. He appears to have been adding to it in the spare time that he's here. Then there's a little table that actually has a fireplace built into the center of it. It's like a round stone table with a little crackling fire in the center of it. And he closes the door and says, "Please have a seat. What's mine is yours, to an extent that is reasonable."
Oh, well, that is very kind of you, Mr. Abinthy. And Leshka will just kind of take a seat. Are you doing all right? It's been a long day for both of us, it seems.
Yes, I'm doing fine. I've just been doing some weaving. But as I said, I figured you being an inquisitive type may have some questions.
Yes. Well, yes, I suppose I will try to make it brief. That way we can both be on our way to getting some rest. While we were in the Vaults of Avarice, you introduced yourself to me as the Mage Slayer of Avarice Hill.
I'm pretty sure I didn't. But go on.
Well, I was trying to do a bit of research, and I do know that at one point Avarice and Wisteria Vale had a conflict with each other, but not much is known about it. So I am wondering, and by no means do I seek all the details. I'm sure you will share what you feel is necessary when the time comes. But for my sake, to know that I can actually trust you with the safety of my friends, I would inquire as to why you might be called that.
Abinthy will take some slow, ponderous steps, tapping his cane on the ground as he goes to sit, kind of like at a 90-degree angle on the circular table to where Leshka is. Early on when we first met, you asked me to tell some tales about myself, and I had mentioned that many of them were not good stories. The Mage Slayer of Avarice Hill is one of those, and it is a story that I have been running from for a long time. And it is a story that I cannot tell lightly, and I cannot tell without context. In the shortest of shorts, I am the Mage Slayer of Avarice Hill. And while I cannot tell you my story, I can tell you the story that the people of Avarice and the people of Wisteria Vale tell. If you would allow me.
By all means.
Well, the first thing you need to understand is roughly 16 to 17 years ago is when Avarice first began its major expansion into other areas. They'd always been warmongering, but never quite consuming. The first target was, of course, Wisteria Vale. Avarice was a powerful location, but their power stemmed mainly from manpower. They had simply numbers and martial force. They were severely lacking in magic, which Wisteria Vale, being a group of magic-minded researchers, had in abundance. So they set their eyes on Wisteria Vale and formally issued a declaration of war. As it started out, Avarice was winning. It was a pretty clear-cut case to begin with. They simply outnumbered Wisteria to an absurd degree. But Wisteria had an ace up their sleeve. There was a group called the Executioners that they had formed of well-trained magicians that ranged anywhere from 3rd Circle to a few that had reached up to 6th Circle. They had used that force to systematically cut back on Avarice's forces, attack weak points, locations that theoretically should be unobtainable, and slowly began to push back Avarice's forces to the point where not only had they pushed them back to their original starting point, but they'd actually begun to gain ground on Avarice. The first piece of Avarice that they took in that fight with the Executioners, that was not originally Wisteria Vale's, was Avarice Hill. The Mage Slayer, or the Slayer as they say for short, to Avarice, they tell the story in a different way. Stories change depending on who tells them, the context that they tell it in, and the location in which they do. For Avarice, the tale of the Mage Slayer is told at parties, by bards, sung in songs. It is a story of a hero, a miracle, a patriot, a volunteer soldier who took it upon their own shoulders to end a war, and in doing so save lives. But history is written by the victors, which means that most often the truth is told by the losers. Wisteria Vale tells the story in a much different way. It is told by old soldiers in quiet tap rooms, or to scare children, as a tale of a fiend. The night after Wisteria Vale took Avarice Hill, as darkness fell, those who were there, which included their front guard and the Executioners, were obviously having a rather joyous night. It was unfortunately cut short due to a storm that rolled in over the hills. Clouds so dark that it blocked out the moon. There was no light that night. As they say it, a creature appeared, a fiend, a demon, a devil, without warning, and it fell upon them like the seen storm. Eyes like lightning, and a voice like thunder. Whatever blade it used flashed, and wherever it landed, it was followed by a scream, heard over the crashing thunder. The fight between whatever this creature was, this Mage Slayer, lasted from dusk until dawn. As it went, the rain turned to blood, and no one dared forge that hill. by the time the sun finally broke through the clouds and the first rays of light pierced that barrier, there was only one thing left standing on that hill, knee-deep in the bodies of 30 to 40 mages. And as the sun reached him, and he let out a cry of remorse, of anger, of pain, and then he disappeared. No executioners lived through that night, and with Wisteria's spirit broken and their ace removed from the playing field, avarice swept through them, now bolstered, and the war was ended soon after. To Wisteria Vale, the Mage Slayer took away their freedom, took away their hope. I am that Mage Slayer.
And which party are you to my friends? The Slayer who took away their hope? Or the Savior that gave it to them?
I'm whatever they need me to be.
DM, do I believe
Yeah.
him?
Roll an insight check.
Okay, lovely. I would love nothing more than to roll an insight check of a high value in order to confirm what is and is not the truth within the statements that have been stated. However, insight is not my strong suit, and neither is rolling dice.
That preach. I need that on a sticker.
11.
As far as you can tell, he's telling the truth.
Great. Love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. Alright. That will do. You've certainly done nothing to prove that you have any ill intent towards myself or my comrades, and I appreciate your help that you have given so far.
I'm glad that you're taking this so well. It is not something that I am proud of.
Well, you'll fit in the group just fine then. They all have things that they wish were not true about themselves.
Well, that's disheartening.
I think it is true. It is unfortunate that they all have lived disappointing lives in that regard. However, it also is what has brought them together, I believe. And I believe it is what allows them to be their best selves with each other. I know, with Cather especially. So thank you. And thank you for, or at least what I can perceive is your honesty.
I cannot say that the story is absolutely true, because it is not mine. But for the most part, for them it is true.
Oh, no.
Obviously, it is missing context that I cannot give in the time that I have. But I will tell them eventually. But there are too many things that if I were to tell you my story now, there would be too many questions, too many things that you wouldn't understand, that I could not fill you in.
That is just fine. I do not seek that story right now. What you gave will suffice. And again, I appreciate all that you have done.
That's good. Do you have any other questions? How did I meet Glacia? What's that whole deal about? Anything else?
Oh, that feels like
Where
a
do you get
conversation for tomorrow.
Where do you get your overwhelming charisma and dashing good looks?
Oh, I have plenty of my own.
True. Well, I should,
It is late. We should both
Yes.
perhaps depart for the evening.
I need to finish my weaving for the night. So yes, I hope that you sleep well.
Stay with him, Leshka.
Yeah, we
Good
cut to
night
that
with
this
him.
morning. I roll over and light a cigarette. 1-1. He's like, no, I'm a dragon. I don't smoke. He blows a little flame. He's like, but I
Do
can
dragons
light it for
not
you.
smoke?
Because they're always smoking, dude.
Yeah, they're all.
So-
Smoking hot.
You guys go to bed. You go find rest, all of you, and the morning arrives. Technically, you all do level up, yes. Mentioned at the end of the last episode, or forgot to mention at the end of the last episode, but they all already leveled up. Yes,
like what people are at now, real quick.
level
Health-wise.
13.
Level 13.
Mm-hmm.
Cather obviously is full levels paladin. Leshka is full levels sorcerer. To everyone's
I've got
surprise.
85 health, y'all.
Um,
Woo!
Good job. Honestly, although 85 health is actually quite a bit for a wizard.
I've been rolling max on my d6s. Got a +2 constitution.
Aaron should go join the Hamilton musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in.
You guys all slowly, individually wake up in the morning. I believe starting with Cather.
Let's go.
The DM does love me.
The traps are back.
So in the morning, what Cather would like to do, first of all, when he wakes up, is Atris still there?
No.
No? Okay. That is important. So as Cather kind of wakes up and notices that she's gone, he kind of just sighs to himself for but a moment before kind of just getting up and kind of not like fully getting ready, not like putting on his armor, all of his armor and stuff, but just puts on some clothes and stuff, and then we'll head out and make some tea. But it's early enough that like he really only just makes some for himself.
Okay.
Before just kind of, and after it's ready, he kind of just actually just kind of just goes on a walk of the grounds.
Okay.
Kind of just talking to himself as he does, before eventually at some point makes his way back around, like when I make him like walk around, like he's like leaving like the keep and like walking like down to the beach and back up and around like what used to be Catan and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And, yeah.
There. It's a little chilly this morning. Fall is setting in, and so you go down. There's a gentle breeze coming off the sea. It's pretty, like I said, it's pretty chilly. There's a slight dew on the grass as you come back off the cliff and back in and around Catan. Catan's been cleaned up. There's not any like destroyed, rotting buildings anywhere. It's basically just a bunch of foundations, and then a lot of the materials from Catan, from the houses that were Catan, were used to build Gambit's keep. And so as you look around, there is a couple sections in the landscaping around Gambit's keep that it's just like they'll have like a retaining wall that a lot of boards are stacked into, and there's like a tarp that goes over it as a way of preventing them from rotting quicker than they need to, stuff like that. Some stones all around. A lot of the stones were taken from foundations in Catan. But you go around and there's beautiful landscaping. You see Triplewood's hut just off to the side. You see what used to be, there's a building that's now used kind of like a storage shed that used to be where the long-term workers on the grounds stayed. Our boy
Lashka leaving Abinthy's hut holding his shoes.
There's lots of trees around. They're starting to turn, and so there's lots of reds and oranges and yellows all around, a few leaves on the ground. Not quite early enough in the fall for there to be a substantial amount of leaves quite yet, but just early enough that the leaves are just starting to turn. There's still lots of green leaves, and a few have fallen. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so Catherine will just kind of enjoy the scenery around, of the morning dew, before eventually making his way back to the keep and back to his room, and just kind of sits down and kind of just talking to himself. It's just like, I'll role play for the sake of it, because I want you the players to hear this.
Yes, and we miss Catherine.
Because I promised tea, and so I have to do it. But Catherine just kind of saying to himself, and kind of actually just grasping his holy symbol, the symbol of the elk, just kind of saying, "Oh, what should I do? It's clear everyone's changed so much already in these past 3 years. None of us are the same. This place certainly isn't the same that it once was. Should I be the leader that I once was for them? Should I lie and pretend that everything is all right? Or should I try to be honest? Hope they forgive me for it."
Nice cutscene.
That was cool.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate that. But yeah, he'll just kind of sit in his room for a little bit, just kind of contemplating and thinking and pacing a little bit, because that's what Cather does. He's like Mia. He paces.
Oh my god, are we both pacers? Are we pacers, Drew?
Yes, we are. 100%.
Oh my god, shout
Shout
out to
for
the
the pacer
pacers out
test.
there.
It's a multi.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and then I'm sure after a little while he'll actually leave and kind of start making breakfast for everyone.
I kind of love the idea that he made tea and then just left. He didn't drink it. He just made tea.
He smelled it and then left it on the counter and went for a walk.
The smells are free, but the tea is not.
You guys,
By the way, for the record, Cather, and this isn't just for the gag. It's actually so I can show off something really cool. But Cather is shirtless.
Yeah. This is the best plot we've had
are back
all year. I watched the Paper Dungeon for the plot.
Yeah. Definitely for the plot. Yeah. Renaya, you wake up next. You smell the faint bits of, we'll go with some eggs, some bacon, maybe some hash browns, there's tea coming from the kitchen, but it's still really early. Cather got up at 4 and then started making breakfast for everybody at 5.
Well, no, he would have. I mean, he would have waited for closer to when people actually would start to wake up.
We can add it to the calendar.
Forgot about the calendar.
I never forgot.
Yeah, so Renaya grumpily kind of gets up, checks on pockets.
He just grabs a teddy bear that you have nearby and just snuggles up with that and falls back to bed.
She gives a little head scratch, and then she will start to make her way to where she's assuming Cather is making breakfast.
Yeah. You come in on and almost had deja vu for a second as you remember back in the Argent Palace as the boys made breakfast, only it's slightly bittersweet with Tarak not being there. And obviously Edward is still asleep. But it's also kind of nice seeing Cather sitting there cooking and making breakfast for you guys once again.
Shirtless.
Does he need to be shirtless? Up for debate.
Yes.
No, but
Yes.
he does need to be shirtless. That way I can point out the fact that you notice that he has a tattoo.
Every now and then the grease like sputters and it hits him and he flexes and he's like, ah.
Ugh,
Ew.
it shines on his perfect skin.
Okay, tattoo. Okay,
It's
sorry.
like baby oil.
Continue.
I don't know.
Well, what's the tattoo?
Well, I was just gonna see if Grant was gonna actually, let me say it or not.
Hey, I segued. I said tattoo time. Go for it,
But
buddy.
anyway, so you would notice that Cather, has it starts on kind of, on his upper, right arm, goes kind of across his shoulder, across his upper part of his back, and then kind of descends down the other shoulder and arm.
And it's got wings.
I was gonna say that it's a tramp stamp that says "check for traps."
What the heck? That's gross.
Oh wow.
That's so good.
Anyway, but so in looking at it, you see what's on his right arm, kind of going up to his shoulder. What looks like a very beautiful, like dark, like crimson, like obsidian and black, like fortress within what you could only assume to be the Underdark. With these oddly beautiful array of different colors and lights. As it crawls up onto his shoulder, you see it transitioned into these marred and scarred wastelands and fields where you see what looks like slaves and prisoners being worked to the bone, before it transitions kind of on the middle of his back to the fields become elegant and beautiful as you see this decent sized but humble village that you assume to be Munkari, Cather's home in Rivaluna, before it again transitions, and kind of in the center of his back you actually see this depiction of what you think is the Triune of Death, of this thief, this widow, and this gravedigger, kind of all in a trifecta kind of on the center of his back, before it transitions into what looks like a forest, and where you see what looks like a depiction of this wood elf with red hair, and then you see the face of Havel with this six-sided gold coin, and then you see the rest of the party encountering each other within Athala, before kind of transitioning kind of on his left side of his back and onto his shoulder, before becoming on his right arm the actual finished Gambit's keep, with the kind of their insignia kind of towards the bottom of the keep.
And another detail with that, as you notice as he's cooking, it's not still. You know those kind of like 3D pictures where like it's like of a dog or something, and like you turn it one way and it's like the head turns. It kind of has that similar vibe, where as you like look across it, it almost is like the details of it move and shift and add a little more filigree to the story.
As he moves his muscles and shuffles the pan, his muscles ripple and change.
It's like the
what's
trampoline
happening.
guy.
Not
Exactly.
quite, but it's almost like the art comes to life and moves across his skin.
Lord, what you got on you?
Oh, Renaya, I'm sorry, I didn't see
Reverend
you
Ethan.
there.
Didn't expect you to see me here, shirtless.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I thought you were gonna come from over there.
Ew,
yeah,
I don't like it.
I got it when I visited the Horned Elves I thought perhaps I could see Kiyomura there, but unfortunately he was not there. But yes, I thought it's appropriate.
Very symbolic.
Yes, you could say that. A bit of a coming to terms, really, with everything, I think.
Was it painful?
Yeah, actually, it took like a week to do. So yeah.
Well,
But yes.
but
It kind of sheepishly, Cather will actually turn and like grab his shirt that's on the counter and just put it on.
Turn and grab his shirt.
It's a muscle like
It's
tank
the
top.
tank.
It's a bro tank.
Oh,
No,
God.
no. It's a normal shirt.
Sweatshirt.
It's a normal
It's
shirt
a cropped sweatshirt.
with the lace, like the lace.
Cather gives off 80s horror movie jock vibes where they're
Fair.
wearing the like crop top like sports shirt and it's just abs.
Yeah, fair.
How long are we gonna push this bit?
I don't.
Literally for the rest of the season.
But yeah, then he'll like kind of get a plate of the food like served, and he'll hand it to Renaya.
thanks. You know you didn't have to make breakfast your first day back.
I didn't sleep well, so I needed something to do.
Right. With Renaya,
Do I get juicy tea?
you get a little bit of like a vibe, but
Okay.
it's like
I'll take a vibe.
there's like with Renaya and Cather's interactions, there's normally a kind of like there used to be a very like nervousness to her with them. That's no longer there, but there's still like this stiffness.
I've noticed. That's a compliment on your role playing.
So aside from new tattoos, how have the rest of your years been?
They've chaotic, if I were to think would be the best way to describe it. After we all went our separate ways, it's spent about a year fighting. Took us a little while to retake Delwara, and then after that I spent several months running around in Rivaluna. Because of many of the might of the Moon Elven army leaving south, many villages were actually attacked by drow scouting parties and small task forces. So spent a lot of time trying to clean up all of that, but was successful. So things have been looking much better. And then just kind of bit of try to lay low more or less that second year. Tried to find some time to myself and kind of come to terms with everything that's happened. It's part of during when I got the tattoo. I got myself an island. It's a very small, not quite tiny, uninhabited island. More like a small, one-habited island. I actually found it after a fishing trip with my brothers, two of my brothers, and I don't know. It's I just felt a bond with the land. I found out later that it actually was the site of a small battle that's happened many years ago. But then, really, this past year has kind of been a blur, because it's just been one thing to the next, trying to chase down leads with the Anathema and also the Fae, to varying levels of success. Mostly not. But I suppose that's probably a conversation for when everyone else wakes up and gets here.
Right.
But you've been doing all right? Can't help but
I think
notice
so.
a little bit of a down spirit.
Not really down spirit, just a lot to do, I guess.
I see. Seems we've all been busy these past 3 years.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm like sitting here like wanting to like drag my nails across a chalkboard. That's what this conversation feels like.
I don't know what you mean. This feels very relaxed.
There's
Not at all tense.
There's no tension
There's no
whatsoever.
latent hostility.
My neighbor is revving his motorcycle, and by mine I mean me, Lydia
Ours.
and Aaron's motorcycle.
The paper manners neighbor.
On the bright side,
Yeah, I
between all
kind
of
of
our
can't
mics,
really talk when there's a
between all
engine
of our
going.
mics, the engine might harmonize.
Oh. Yeah, yep.
Who wakes
Anyway,
up next, DM?
Yeah, so
If we just talk loud enough, they can't hear it.
There you go. There's some.
and-
There's
and Abinthy, you guys wake up next.
Abinthy?
At the same
together.
time, Edward and Abinthy.
Oh.
At the same time.
Oh, that is, we did sync our sleep schedules. So like the first thing that I do is go to Edward's room, knock politely.
As you do that, you do notice you walk into the keep, you see the kitchen, you sense the hostility, and you're just like,
I just keep
nope,
going.
Oh, God.
not dealing.
So I'm like, all right. That is a team effort.
Hostility. I don't know if that's quite the right word.
Bro, Renaya wants to stab you.
Hey, Lydia.
Is that true?
Lydia, does Renaya want to stab that
Insight
Catherine?
check.
make an insight check.
Yeah. Yes. Let's go. Here we go. This is interesting. Let's go. Sound of truth him.
Get him.
9.
Get him.
Hard to tell.
Let's go.
To be fair, does Renai ever not want to stab someone?
Does Pockets want to stab Catherine?
That's fair.
No, Pockets is in love with Cather.
Aren't we all?
I thought Pockets
yeah.
was in love with Edward.
He's also very much in love
Understandably.
with
It's called a thruple. Get
I
with
see.
the times.
understand.
Whoa.
In reality, we're all in Pockets'
Bro.
harem.
So,
They have started
guy.
like 7
Ab-
different engines.
Abinthy.
I go and
Oh
I
my gosh,
knock
I'm
on
gonna mute
Edward's
my-
door.
I have to role play, so you're gonna have to deal with the motorcycle.
That's fine.
Abinthy revs his motorcycle outside of Edward's door.
That's how we wake him up.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Edward, I know that you're normally awake at this time, but there is an aura of weird vibes, if I were to give it a word, coming from the kitchen. And
Edward
frankly,
opens the door.
He's
I
also.
I'm on my motorcycle. I'm
No,
revving
no.
again. I say,
Edward. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Edward opens the door and just says plainly, "That's Cather. It's going to take a minute for things to settle again."
"Oh, that's fine, but I would like to eat, and you know him."
Ah, I see. You're just a
And-
little nervous about meeting somebody new.
I don't know about nervous, but I feel like if I walked in there right now, it would be. This is how it would go. I'd roll up on my motorcycle, roll past the door, and I would hop off.
Hold
the
on,
side.
hold on. I want you all to know it just stopped. They didn't go anywhere. They just
No, they just like to
they
rev
just
it.
They just
revved
like-
it
they
and
like
then
sounding
turned it
cool.
off.
Yeah, they just like it.
I told you, you got to keep that property value low.
It gives
Keep
them
taxes down.
pleasure to make our lives worse.
Excuse me,
I-
sir.
I
It's
would-
right outside my window too.
Yeah,
would-
same. It's that window.
Yeah, it's
I would
outside our
roll-
window. Yeah.
I would roll up on my motorcycle and I would get off and I would walk into the kitchen and I would say, "Hey, Cather, looking swole today," and then I would get stabbed.
Whoa. Okay. I don't think Cather rolls like
I
that.
didn't say who was stabbing me.
Okay.
There's
Well,
a lot of
I
hostility,
don't think
and
we need
way
to
more
worry
than one
about it.
person could generate.
I can smell tea, and Cather used to brew tea occasionally.
I
We would
hate
share
tea.
it. I think this is a good thing. I mean, even if it
You see,
feels a
you're
bit
the
awkward.
person who would know that, which is why I came here first.
Honestly, I commend you. I think that's wise.
That
With
is
a new
not a trait to
person
describe Abinthy.
who doesn't really know. You don't really know what's happened. You don't know everything that's been going on. So it
there's
would make
just this-
sense.
This
A new
huge,
person.
absolutely yoked elf that just showed up, started stabbing Modrons. How am I supposed to deal with that?
He actually
Okay,
didn't-
you've
he
heard
actually
the
didn't
stories.
Stab any Modrons.
You've heard
Oh,
the
he
stories.
just punched him. That's way better.
Don't you worry. Cather, he might get a little heated when it's something he cares about, but he wouldn't willy-nilly stab somebody.
The
That's not
last-
like him.
Edward, the last time that I knew a religious person who wasn't Renaya, we had a feud that lasted 10 years. It might
Okay.
still be going on. I'm not
Well,
sure.
You're not going to insult his gods or anything like that, are you? Don't, Abinthy. Don't.
He's like, I don't think that it would come up in casual conversation.
When it comes to Cather, you have to understand that he has a lot of reason to believe what he does, okay? It's not some willy-nilly thing that he's just found himself upon. He really cares about it. And I think it might be wise to hear him out if you get the chance. Don't
that's just
don't
the
write
worst
it off
type
just
of
because
people,
of
the
gods.
one who really think about it and they still end up on that this is a good idea. Anyway, gas
could be
prices
right.
are skyrocketing. Are you going to get on the bike and go?
Edward says, "Do you have a second helmet?"
I have a sidecar, and yes, it comes with a helmet.
Nice.
Then right
you guys
on.
rev your way into the kitchen.
Edward is making ring sounds.
There
even though he's in the
are little
sidecar.
alcoves carved into the walkways where someone to park my bike.
They hear from the hallway. Bah, banana. Banana.
And now, bam, 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 bam. Anyway.
Back you back.
So Captain Renaya, you guys sit
Nice.
there in your awkward, tense silence until you notice Abinthy show up and then awkwardly go grab Edward. And then he comes back out with Edward leading the way and Abinthy like sheepishly following behind him.
In this
By this point, Catherine has
in
set the
this-
table.
setting, Renaya has just been sitting there, like, isn't uncomfortable, but it's definitely making it uncomfortable for anybody who's watching.
He's
Like-
just sitting there staring at Cather the whole
It
time.
has
he's
been
watching
like
him.
5 minutes of absolute silence, except for the sound of like a clinking plate, like
And it's
a
not
fork
that- It's not like that
screech.
nice silence when like you've gotten comfortable enough with a person where you don't have to talk to be like in someone's presence. It's that like we're awkwardly not talking.
It's silence
she
you
is
can hear.
completely like unbothered by it.
I love that.
This is the usual.
Nothing new. As Edward walks in, he sees Catherine lights up and he holds his arms out wide and he says, "Cather, my old friend, come here." And he holds his arms out for a hug.
Yeah, Cather will sit up from this table and approach and give Edward a nice big hug.
They do like the pat hug.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Like-
you pat him on the back. Yeah, that's right.
Edward holds him out at like his arms out, holding his shoulders. And he says, "I apologize for yesterday. I wish we had better introductions. I haven't seen you in so long, but we were all tired and the whole Sigil thing was just a mess. I'm very happy to see you and I hope we get the chance to catch up."
Yes, I'm sure there are many things that for all of us to talk about and catch up on, especially with
Certainly,
recent
I mean-
events happening.
Yes, apparently you are in Sigil with Autumn Daughters and among other things, and
Well, not quite. I wasn't with an Autumn Daughter when I was in Sigil, but we'll get to that. We'll get to
the
that.
Fae? Was that it?
Well,
It doesn't matter.
yeah,
I'm
well,
just happy to see you.
Yes. Yes. I made food for everyone, so please. By all
Thank
means.
you. And where are my manners? This is my assistant, Abinthy. He has been traveling with us.
Yes, I'm Abinthy Tripwitz, the traveling tailor. We met briefly.
Yes,
I teleported you.
Yes, it was almost 2 years ago now, though. But
Oh yeah, there was that time too as well.
it
You,
is.
I asked for your specifications on your tower, and you said, and then you left. So I just made a bed,
Yeah,
and then
it's
kind of just left it at that.
Yes, it is quite suitable. I'm sure I will try to make some of my own adjustments in time. But
I can still order things for you. I mean, Renaya asked for an orb of annihilation.
oh, do you
That
do you
was
have
promptly
that
dispelled.
special 2-day shipping?
Yes, I do have an Amazon Prime, which I definitely use to subscribe to my favorite
Amazon.
Dungeons and Dragons Twitch channel.
Oh
for
my
free.
gosh. What a plug.
Actually-
that was seamless.
I messed up on the words. I forgot what they were. But yes, I think that breakfast would be a fantastic time to consolidate our information, get it all in a nice little bundle, and then figure out. I hate to say we, because I don't want to overstep my bounds.
Oh,
But,
don't you worry, Abinthy. Cather, I can assure you that Abinthy is welcome him as one of our own. I can assure you he's safe with any information you have, and he is with our best interest. I consider him. Oh, go ahead.
Have I heard of Abinthy the Traveling Tailor before?
No, not at all.
No. Okay.
Just to
Sorry to interrupt you, Grant.
No,
but-
you're good.
Speaking of unwelcome guests, Leshka does walk in at this time as well.
I was gonna say, yeah, about this time, Leshka does walk in.
he said, "Hey guys, I'm
yes,
leaving."
I see that you have all awakened. I'm terribly sorry that I'm late to the party. I'm afraid I slept in just a little bit. Long day yesterday was. Oh, but some. Oh, look at that! Some ham, some egg. Oh, are those biscuits too? Oh, God.
Oh, yes.
You are.
Yes,
Leshka.
and you've met Leshka, right?
Yes, Katha, Leshka, fantastic introductions. Please go on.
No. I'm glad you've joined us. We just got here as well. Well, this feels all warm and happy now that we're all back together. Let's just enjoy some food. I know there's a lot of things going on, but if we could just take a moment and enjoy each other's presence, I'd like that.
Abinthy sits like as far away from Renaya, but like not to the point where he's like on the opposite side, because then he would be in eye line and Abinthy's
Opposite
like,
corner.
I don't want to
Gambit's
deal with this.
Gambit's Keep has a table that can seat 8. It's 3 on each side and then 1 on the head and the foot of the table. And so Renaya sits on one side of the side, and not on the foot or the head, but on the left side.
Yeah,
of
she sits on one
side.
corner.
Oh no.
And
Renaya
Abinthy
sits
sits
on
on
one of
the
the heads
right
of the
side.
table.
Renaya sits at the head of the table. Abinthy sits at the
juicy.
far end, not quite at the foot of the table, but as close to the foot of the table as he can get.
Leshka definitely takes the foot of the table. Just right across from Renaya.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, fantastic! I have
And then-
elbow room.
And Edward
the
was
other
heading to that
side,
seat, and
Abinthy's
Leshka
saying-
took it. And then Edward
really
had
the
to find a
cafeteria.
different spot.
Yeah,
Edward
Cather
sits next to
pulls
Abinthy.
out the seat next to him, and then he goes to Abinthy instead.
So you guys sit.
And
Mhm.
eat our food. We have breakfast.
Whoa, we're
Congratulations,
not gonna
guys.
RP this?
We've done it.
For anybody that would walk in on this room, the vibe would be an odd conglomeration of the vibe is siblings who just had a fight. That's the
I'd
vibe.
like to point out, Edward is trying to make small talk this whole time. He's asking questions, he's leading conversations, but a lot of them just die. And he doesn't know how to go about this, so he just kind of keeps trying
Abinthy
over and over
does-
again, but it's
Does
just
lean
awkward.
over every once in a while and just go, I told you the vibe is real weird right now.
Well, and I
I'm
said
not-
it'd be awkward for a while,
I'm
didn't
not
I? Just sit
prepared
through
for
it.
this.
Everybody
Just sit
can
through
hear
it
this.
and it'll get better.
But it's like a quiet room, so everyone can very clearly hear exactly
exactly.
what we're saying.
Oh boy. I do like to imagine towards the end of breakfast, so to speak, Leshka will speak up and say, well, this has been a very, very nice and well put together breakfast. Thank you, Cather. but I'm sure there's also some business that we must all attend to, as there are many things going on. So perhaps maybe a bit of a recap as to what's has been going on for you, Cather, at least, since perhaps, well, I suppose maybe Leshka will look to like Renaya and Edward. I mean, I don't know how much you guys know of what he's been through the past 3 years, I suppose, but sure, it seems like perhaps like the past year is the most important kind of stuff.
Yes, well, quite honestly, I would very much like to hear what you've been up to. You don't have to go too far into it if you don't want to. Again, I want to keep everything pleasant here if we can. But whatever you'd like to share, I am just dying of curiosity, and I'm sure Renaya is as well.
Apathy is sweating.
Edward like looks at Renaya like, like right, like you're also interested, right? Trying to get her to be like welcoming. Okay, please go on.
Does Leshka pick up on what's bothering Renaya?
Do you think Leshka would pick up on what's bothering Renaya?
Actually, yes. Actually,
fair.
Is Leshka doing anything to try to pick up on Renaya?
I mean, you know, he's just trying to look at her, kind of read body language.
Is Renaya doing anything to not let people notice her?
So, with Renaya, it's not necessarily like angry.
No.
It's just very cold.
Yeah. Leshka, what's your passive insight?
I mean,
9.
Passive insight is an 11.
Nope. Yeah. It's just another day in the neighborhood. Good old jolly times hanging out with your friends.
Yeah, Leshka.
You and Leshka.
Honestly,
Edward
I do like to imagine Leshka hasn't noticed how awkward it is.
No, not at all.
No, it's
Leshka was the only person that engaged
That's why I
in
was
small talk.
asking. I'm like, Leshka's the least likely person here.
to pick up on it.
To be
Yeah.
clear,
It's like, oh, yeah,
Edward
breakfast.
Edward does know that there is tension between Renaya and Cather, and he, 1, doesn't want to know what it is, and 2, expected it.
Cather doesn't have anything against Renaya. I don't know
That's
why.
because Catherine's an idiot.
I guess.
That's Drew talking. Not
You know,
Cather.
it hurts, but I guess.
Edward just feels like the mom trying to keep everything cordial.
And then, like, again, like, Renaya's
Like
not like
Thanksgiving.
glaring. She's not doing anything like mean. It's just there is a very clear disconnect.
Yeah.
Fair.
Also, in this analogy, Avanthy is definitely the new boyfriend. That's like
Absolutely. He's the person that is like brought to the house and is like,
But it's like the parents are divorced, and it was like,
the parents
why
are
we
divorced.
here?
The moms are
It's like-
dating, but the 2 kids are fighting, and she's trying to like manage that. And he's just sitting there as the first time that he's met the kids, and he's like,
This is great.
I don't.
This is great.
Anyway, so Cather, in responding to Edward's question,
Let me serve some tea before we get started. Edward bustles, gets the teapot, serves everybody tea, and says, yes, this is, he talks about the tea and how nice it is. And he sits down and he's like, now that we're all refreshed, go ahead. Sorry, I had to do it.
yes, thank you, Edward, for the refills. Well, I suppose I did tell Renaya this a little bit, over the past 3 years. The first year after we kind of went our separate ways, I rejoined my kinsmen, and we were successful in retaking the city of Delwara. And then afterwards proceeded to make our way throughout many places in Rivaluna, actually trying to deal with small outbreaks of conflict and fighting, particularly with drow forces. Sort of towards the end of that, I actually made a trip back to Gambit's Keep and visiting a few different places. Cather will kind of like show off just a little part of his tattoo to those who haven't seen it, and I visited our friends, the Horned Elves, and actually got this at the time,
Did you say hello to Kiyomura?
I was hoping to, but unfortunately, he was not there.
Oh.
I have not been able to get in contact with him for, well, since we last all spoke with him.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's his...
But you got a tattoo, that's good.
Yes, it felt very necessary for me, and I felt a bond to the somewhat spiritual and ceremonial aspects of getting one from them, and so I got it. And then after that, continued to make my way home. Stopped a couple places along the way, just doing some, trying to help out a few villages here and there. And eventually got my way back home. Sort of within the past 8 to 6 months is when I've really been looking into things with the Anathema and the Fae to varying levels of success. The reason that I was in Sigil actually was because I was about 6 months ago I had a dream, and I relived a memory, I think, of the day that Melora died, the day that Zestari killed her.
Yes, how could I forget?
And that same day when I woke, an Autumn Daughter came to me and said I was invited to come speak with Zestari in her palace in the Feywild.
You didn't say yes, did you?
I did, actually.
To Zestari? Are you insane?
Maybe a little bit, I suppose. But I
And
did...
what happened?
Well, I went there and did find some very strange things there, but it wasn't a very friendly event, so I left fairly hastily.
Let me guess. It was a trap. They tried to kill you. Am I far off?
No, you're not very far off, not at all. But I was able to escape without too much trouble. While I was there, though, I did find some things particularly interesting. First of all, I did notice there seems to be 50 or so Autumn Daughters that she has at her disposal.
50? That seems like quite a bit, right?
Yes. Yes, quite a bit. Which is very concerning given the lethality of an individual, one being equivalent to that of probably 100 soldiers.
You know, I never did find out if Melora was an Autumn Daughter. You wouldn't happen to know, would you?
I suspect it perhaps was maybe true, but I imagine...
She didn't seem like one. That's for another time. Continue. Sorry.
Cather wouldn't know. He doesn't remember.
But yes, Cather
Oh.
doesn't really know. Again, the only memory he has of her at this
Awkward.
point is her death. That's all he's got.
Awkward. I forgot.
But then also, in the castle, in Zestari's castle, I noticed a strange chrysalis. Very large, like 10-foot...
Butterfly.
This 10-foot tall chrysalis that seems to be made of almost what looked to be akin to, like, purple leaves. I didn't get a chance to really investigate what it was, though. But it was concerning nonetheless.
It is the Fae. There's a lot of weird things there, right?
Yes, that is very true.
Okay, so after the Fae, you...
But
went
yes,
and
I made my
Zestari or whatever.
Yes, I made my escape from the castle, and actually managed to find a rift that had opened from the Feywild to one of the lower planes. I don't quite remember which one it was, but it was an ashen place that's like had a giant volcano and something. Was actually able to make my way out of there by jumping into the volcano.
I'm not even going to ask how he figured that out.
That's actually pretty typical. It's always a volcano.
Really? That doesn't sound like it.
And
9
then,
times out of 10.
and then
Oh.
that is how I got into Sigil. And or you guys
You
obviously
didn't
found me.
mean to get there.
No, not at all. I was just trying to get out of danger.
Well, you had an easier time than we did. Getting
uh,
in anyways. It was very difficult to find you. I gave up
Yes.
months of work back in Athala.
Yes.
All because I
and
care about you, Cap.
And I'm very grateful for your guys' help. I would have been hard pressed to find a way out of there without you.
I accept your thank you.
Sigil was under
With bows.
attack while you were there, correct?
Yes. The attack.
Was that you? Did you make that happen?
No, I was very much trying to lay low during the
Was
situation.
it coming for you?
I don't believe so. No, from
Okay.
what I did gather, it was accidental, actually.
That's awfully inconvenient.
The attack itself was actually done by elementals. That's just sort of fell into the city. I suspect in a similar fashion than to me. Seems like
yes.
with the weakening borders between planes, they very
Things are just
easily kind of
popping up
slip
places.
through. Yes. And
So you do know
supposedly-
about that.
Well, yes, I gathered as much, and in talking with some of the locals, even, it seems that this isn't the first time that something like this has happened.
All right. Well, I have a plethora of questions, but I'm going to hold my tongue. I want to
Yes.
ask a couple important ones, though, if I can. If you
of
would let
course.
me.
Yes, of course.
What possessed you to go after the anathema once again, and the other things? I had thought that things were fine, but was it that dream? Was it something else? You had said that you began looking after it, and I'm just troubled because I did not anticipate another potentially world-ending scenario, and I'm wondering if you have any more insight as to the origin of this problem.
I'm not so sure about the origin. From what I have found, I was always these past 3 years looking for possible leads on the anathema. I figured that Athala and Oclaron was not the last of their plans. Especially given the fact that there was a member of the anathema at Delwara, and a member who I think perhaps is known as Requiem. But I had noticed, but it really first came into play actually about 2 years ago. If perhaps if you know of whom I speak, Adrasil is one of the prime goddesses, that of war and peace.
Yes, I know of Adrasil.
She actually has been helping me track down some of these leads. The first major one actually was at a planar grand banquet, as it were, dance, where members of the anathema were meeting. And DM, correct me if I'm wrong, there are also like Autumn Daughters there as well, right?
Yes.
They were meeting members of the anathema.
Yes.
And so we were trying to chase down that lead, and it's kind of just progressed from there these past few years.
So that confirms it then. The anathema is in fact working with the Fae.
Yes, it definitely seems that there's some sort of working relation there for sure. As to if they are equals or one over the other, it is, I suppose, unclear still. But those are the main things that I've discovered most recently, yes.
That's troubling news.
Yes, especially with the divide between planes weakening, it all seems very troubling. And hopefully we can maybe fix some of the barriers before something worse comes through. But I suppose you guys probably have your own answers. I know Leshka has been looking into things as well. I'm sure that you guys have found some things of your own.
Well, Renai has been... Oh, go ahead.
And I look at them and I say, all right, Do we each want to recap what we each know? Do we want to do one collective head recap? How do you want to do this?
Well, I would like to hear what Renaya's learned about her Ruat and Lux, was it? And the other ones? It seems like maybe they have something to do with the anathema. Am I wrong? I can't remember. And he looks at Renaya.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I know that, honestly, any tie they have would be something that Kathy would know about. I mean, Ruat. And, what was his name? The undead
Lex.
one.
Brasius.
Brasius.
Yes, the guy with the P name. Starts
Yeah.
with a P. That
I
wasn't
believe
there.
Ruat, Brasius was after Ruat for a
Yes.
little while. Other than that, that's...
Prosius was after Ruat and was working under the anathema.
I mean, other than it just being a powerful piece of a puzzle, I don't know much else about it.
And well, we do know that Melora found it, right? And Zestari killed Melora. Perhaps it had to do with the rod? Maybe I'm looking too much into it. I don't know, it all troubles me. I mean, these powerful
Zestari
items...
didn't take the rod. Zestari took Melora.
Right. Just troubles me, is all. We don't know quite what these things are capable of, and we have power-hungry beings running about. And, power-hungry beings and magical items. I don't know.
Well,
Abinthy, do you know anything?
Well, it appears as though, first off, we have a lot of various information that may or may not be connected in some way, shape, or form. In situations like these, I like to make a list of things to do.
Sounds
What I
like you.
recommend. What? I heard two voices.
A list?
Yes, a list. Well,
And I was just saying, it sounds like something you do is all.
yes. So, at the moment, Katha, not sure if you knew this, Renaya, you are currently cursed, and we have 6 days.
Ah, yes, Benson.
Yes.
The same thing as before.
Is cursed again with Ruat.
Same curse, yes.
New
Different
rod.
Ruat.
New curse.
Different
Different
rod,
Ruat.
same curse.
It's like a second Ruat, basically.
You found a second piece of the rod.
Re-
I see.
Remember Trax hammer?
Urok Varos.
Yes. Okay.
Lux
Was
is a
in the
part
hills,
of that,
yes.
which is the next part to the rod,
I think
which
it's-
has now
I think
cursed
it's
me. I have
Lex.
about... What?
I think
Lex?
it's Lex, not Lux.
Whatever. Do you know what I meant?
It's very important for the translation.
Okay, cool.
I think Lux
Change
means
the vowel.
light.
There you go. We got another rod. I'm cursed again. I have Benson with this little ball of flesh to prevent me
my
from
son.
cursing anybody else for the next 6 days.
All right.
So, on the docket of things to do, defeat curse. That's one of them. We also could attempt to find. We have some very vague information regarding another piece of the rod, Justitia. Justitia. It's hard to pronounce. It's, I don't know, probably Latin or something. If this was a different out-of-world language, it's old tongue. And all we know about that is that it's at an old tomb of unknown origin or purpose or importance. And we have a vague map.
A vague map. All
Yes,
right,
which,
okay.
speaking of that, Renaya, I would love to help you go over. You got the old maps in that chest.
Mm-hmm.
We may be able to cross-reference those to the map that we have, because those are pre-trial, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a potential that we might be able to gather some more information by cross-referencing and layering some maps and maybe get some more ideas as to what's going on.
Yes,
So
you can help
find.
me with that.
I would love nothing more. I love maps. So find the other piece of the rod that starts with a J. And also not have to deal with its curse and cross-reference maps. None of those are in order. In fact, they're almost entirely in reverse.
Okay.
let's see. We need to figure out what is going on with the whole anathema Fae deal. Also, I would love to do a little bit of tinkering when it comes to messing with the planar rifts and whatnot. See if I can. I've stitched together the weave. I don't know if I can do that with a planar portal or anything like that, but I would love to give it a shot. Also, I have some personal tinkering that I would love to mess around with. I'm currently attempting to resurrect ancient magics, and frankly, I would love nothing more than to successfully do that. Speaking of which, Edward, I'm going to need a lot of high-quality Aldronite.
We'll
As much
discuss
as you
that
can
later.
get me.
We'll discuss that later. But
I can try to pay you. I have 19,000 gold.
Okay, but as far as figuring out the planar rifts with the Fae, that I do assure you too that Abinthy would be the person to look into it. He's well read on the topic. But I do have a quick concern. This rod, right? We clearly know it's capable of things that we don't quite understand, and we don't really know what it does, unless I'm missing something. What are we going to do if we get this thing? What if we are
completely
just...
forgot. I need to add that to the list. We need to kill Baphomet.
Oh my. This seems like quite a difficult list.
Why?
Right.
Why?
Here
why?
we go.
Renaya, do you want to take this one? Or do you want me to just do it? What do you want?
Oh my god. Okay. So the whole rod situation is purely driven by me. I'm trying to collect them so that I can overtake Baphomet, who has claim over my soul and my being, and basically, if I even have a soul left at this point, who knows? If you want to run your divine sense thing, go for it, my guy. Tell me what you find. It's rather interesting. And then, yeah, so we're going to try to kill him so I can kind of claim something of mine back, and we'll see how that goes.
And what is the timetable on that one?
Oh. Who knows?
Okay.
Long enough.
At some point, try to defeat Baphomet and at least
The
give
sooner
you,
the better,
you know, your soul back.
But,
yes, I'm sure that would be very beneficial.
soul's probably not the thing anymore, but
Who needs them? Look,
Okay.
I've dated Glossia for a long time. It's not that important in the long run.
So we have to deal with the Fae and the Anathema, and then we also have to deal with Baphomet and the Demon Prince. The King of
I
the
do.
Demon Princes.
To defeat every
do.
single extraplanar being. That would solve all of our problems.
We waged
let's
war
not get
on the
carried
outer
away.
planes.
Right.
So I think it would be in our best interest to try to find out what in the world the Fae and the Anathema might be planning, and maybe, just maybe, it'll be inconsequential. Maybe it's a business arrangement. Who knows? Maybe we won't get caught in the middle of it.
Leshko will.
That's what I hope.
Leshko will pipe in at this moment. And it is worth stating something else that we did find out was the fact that agents of the Fae have been trying to gain alliances with some of the demon princes.
Oh, well, that's much worse.
So that is something else that perhaps we need to keep in mind.
Yes.
Well, I'm worried.
Probably rightfully so. So, of that list of things to do, where would we like to start?
It seems that the best place to start would be to find the last piece of the rod and deal with the curses.
I think the first place is the curse because we have 6 days.
Yes. Curse is big deal. Cather, do you have any ideas? You seem like a person who's dealt with weird garbage.
In regards to the curses,
I mean, you hang out with like a god, right?
I mean, I'm not exactly. I'm divinely intuned, but not exactly arcanely. I don't know how magic works. I just kind of do it.
That's unfortunate. I was really banking on that one.
In regards to, I mean, I suppose I could ask to see if there's some divine knowledge I could gain.
Maybe you can just ask them to get rid of it.
I
I've met clerics who can just wish for their god to do stuff.
I can try, I suppose. I don't know if this would work, but I can
Try using please.
But
Go on, no pressure.
right now.
Is this?
You
is
can
it a
do it
personal
whenever you need
thing,
to.
or- Yeah, that's fair. We have 6 days. It's whatever. Take all the time you need.
Edward just like looks at Abinthy with wide eyes, like his face is saying, "Didn't I tell you not to talk about
He
this?"
turns to Edward and he immediately realizes, and he just goes, "I'm sorry, that was rude." Old habit. It's old habit.
It's all right. I'm just a little confused is all. But okay.
Typical.
You don't even know this guy.
Oh my gosh.
Did Abinthy actually say that?
It was a slip of the tongue. I was talking about myself. Of course, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry.
Did Cather hear that?
I mean,
Gosh.
probably he has elven ears. He's like Legolas, but more ripped.
The anxiety.
Yeah,
My
no, you heard that.
cortisol levels
Oh,
are
poor
spiking.
Cather.
Sorry. I'm sorry. You remind me a lot of a friend that I used to jape around with, and we would banter, and it just kind of slipped out. I'm very sorry. That was very rude of me. I apologize sincerely. I'll try to keep my tongue in check.
Do I believe him, DM?
Inside check.
Edward will help along Abinthy by saying, Abinthy has a bit of a tongue sometimes, but I promise he's
Ladies
good
love
for
him.
it.
I got
What'd you get?
I got a 14.
I got a 16 for whatever on die for whatever role you want.
He seems to be pretty sincere in his apology.
I'll tell you right now. I do have a friend that you remind me of, but it was close enough that it's like, it might have been a little rude, but it is true that you do remind him of a friend.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Anything else that we are trying to maybe perhaps do? Any other approaches we have?
Well, if you do your god stuff to try to get rid of the curse, Renaya, we can journey through the realm of maps to deal with that at the same time. And who knows, perhaps maybe you get 2 pieces of the rod together and the curses just cancel out. Who knows? Or maybe there's some recipe book for curse removal and they're like, hey, we put this rod in a tomb just in case you touch it, you'll get cursed. Here's a recipe book to get out of it. So we can do that at the same time. And then call it good. And then once we do the geography stuff, you do the god stuff, we can reconvene, figure out what we're doing next.
DM.
Andrew.
Just because it occurred to me. Cather's never been back to the tomb that Melora found the Ruai in, right?
No.
Okay.
Also, do you happen to know Zood's Thrim?
I don't believe so. No.
Bummer.
Should
He's. I sense God giving us questioning, shifty-eyed glance. Perhaps could you roll a history check? Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to roll a history check.
That would be a 13.
Nope.
Bang. Curses.
If it is,
Sorry, that was probably offensive.
if it is helpful, maybe we could venture back to the place that's Melora found Ruat, and perhaps investigate a little bit, see if we can't find any answers there.
Well, that sounds fun. I like to
That
do
is an
that. That would be
interesting
a good
idea.
idea. I like that.
Plus,
Perhaps there's
I've only
clues.
heard it in stories. I'd love to see it in person.
Are you okay with this, Renaya, as well?
Yeah.
And
All right.
and
Okay,
in
makes
theory,
sense.
with our flying ship, it should only be maybe a week's
Just a
journey.
quick trip.
Sounds great.
We can stop at a Denny's.
What's Denny's?
It's this great tavern in Athala.
Man, you gotta meet him. Denny, the guy who runs it.
Can it
Incredible.
be Danny's?
Oh, Danny's.
Oh, not the hard hat guy.
Ah,
Yeah.
Wait,
incredible
what was his name?
gambler,
Darren?
incredible
Derek or
pancakes.
something? Maybe.
Daryl.
Daryl.
Danny's
Not
his
Danny.
brother.
Oh,
So
maybe we shouldn't.
Cather Prey, Renai and I geography. Edward looked pretty.
You know that's what I'm good at.
I know. Leshka?
I could help with the maps.
I mean, sure. Actually, you know, whoever wants to help with maps, we could use all the hands we could get. Cather, if you can pray and read at the same time.
Well,
would
Cather, would you
yes, I would.
would you mind if I joined you while you prayed?
He plays an incredible gospel guitar.
Oh, come on now, Avanthy.
You know, I'm not joking. I'm serious. It's
I do.
It's beautiful.
I
Heavenly chords.
You could. I suppose you could join. It wouldn't be an
The
issue.
fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift. He's got them all.
Gosh darn it.
So we'll start with Cather and Edward.
Mhm.
Okay.
Where would you guys go?
Edward lets Cather lead the way. I mean, Edward's just along for the journey.
Feel free to make up a spot, Drew.
I am right now.
The cliffs of Catan.
So there actually, there is one
We
thing.
actually have a chapel on
there
campus.
there is one place. With the construction of Gambit's Keep, Cather still has his own secret room.
The one
It's not decorated at all, but it is still there. So Cather will go to his room, and there's just a lever right next to the door that he just pulls, and a staircase just opens up.
It is a Minecraft lever.
Yes, 100%. Full on Minecraft lever. And so he just goes down there, and there is a small shrine there.
There's a single stick of incense.
And
That has been burning for the last 3 years.
that's right.
Yeah.
And Cather,
Smells great.
and Cather just he'll kind of kneel down, and just kind of pray and meditate, sitting there for a little bit.
As soon as he starts kneeling, Edward will just be like, "You've done a lot with the place."
Not really.
Oh, sorry, did I interrupt? I didn't realize you started. I don't really know how this works. I've never actually prayed like this.
It's just there's not one way to do it per se. Each god prefers it in a different way, from what I've gathered. But really, at the end of the day, you're just trying to talk to someone. So that's really all.
Okay.
That's really what you're doing.
And with the death gods, you just talk to them like that? That's normal?
No.
Oh. Edward's clearly confused.
And Cather will kneel down. He'll pull out his pendant and just kind of hold it lightly, and just start he'll just close his eyes and kind of imagine actually being back home on his island, and will just kind of start to quietly, just silently talk to himself and pray.
Edward will just stand there awkwardly, kind of look around, and then walk over to the wall and just sit and fiddle a bit and just observe Cather. That's all he does. Go on.
And he'll say to himself, first, DM, he will attempt to talk to
Yggdrasil?
my brain is blanking out right now.
Yggdrasil?
No, not Yggdrasil.
The death gods?
Why is my brain not working?
Alduluk, Orgol.
Malice.
Now you're making my brain blank. It's Cyrodiil and Adaria.
Adaria, thank you. He will first try to talk to Adaria. And he'll just say,
He says this out loud?
no, again, talking to himself.
Okay, gotcha.
So he's muttering this. Do you want to try and listen in, Edward?
I would really like to try to listen in. That's okay if I don't.
Roll a perception check.
Okay.
Can I roll a stealth check?
That's a 16. I mean, if you're trying to keep it to yourself, Edward's still trying to eavesdrop anyway, so that's a 16 on my end anyways.
Sure, Drew.
He's not trying to be like Edward's not even trying to be sneaky about it. He's just curious. He's just trying to listen.
No, Edward's able to pick up what he says.
Nice. Okay, go ahead.
I know it's been some time, and I apologize perhaps for the request. It does seem, however, that my friends could use some help. If you have any knowledge in regards to these curses tied to the Ruats and Lex and Justicia, the rods of the trial, any knowledge would be most beneficial.
Roll a religion check.
Okay.
I heard him roll from across the hall.
Okay.
That was an incredible face you made.
Religion. That's an 24.
Ooh.
A gentle breeze blows through this underground keep, smelling of grave dirt. Gather. We wish to help. We must use our resources for our champions. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I figured she'd say something like that.
Edward didn't hear that, just so
Catherine-
the audience
No,
knows.
only
Yeah.
Catherine.
Cather does say, like, kind of out loud, like, I figured that would be the answer.
This smells like grave dirt.
He'll kind of stand up momentarily, pace around the room just a little bit before going back to the altar and kneeling down. And this time he will pray to Atrasil. I don't suppose you've gathered any knowledge on this that you haven't already told me, have you?
In this more formal setting, my love, I need a specific question.
The rod, specifically, Ruat and its kin. The curse that's tied to them. You don't possess any knowledge of how to break one curse, do you?
Roll a persuasion check.
Ooh.
Hey Drew, I'm gonna.
Does he get
I'm gonna
advantage because he's
reverse-
hot?
This was
I'm gonna reverse power
This
it.
was unexpected.
Excuse
Roll a
me,
good
I could have
number.
muted for that.
Roll a natural 20. Drew, I'm going to reflect your power at you.
Yeah, no, you
You
failed.
blew it, didn't you?
Yeah.
God dang it. I hate you. and everything
Aaron,
you
what
stand
did you do? You jinxed it.
Grant, you are
I'll-
not one to speak.
I'll say, Drew, I'll say
Put
you
the
have
trap
advantage
into-
being her lover.
That's yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Ugh.
This is the lesson. Date people that will give you advantages in life.
Oh yeah.
So the first roll was a 3.
The second one's
Roll
a
a 4.
The second one was a 5.
Hey, that's a step
Ooh,
up.
yeah,
Total
baby.
of 13.
Nice.
That's above
Horrible.
average.
It's
It's
not
above
horrible.
a 10. She
Ow.
does like him,
It's
right?
more than 5.
What's your
He
passive
actually
trap
likes him for his
bonus?
body.
What's my passive trap bonus? Oh, that's at least a plus
She's
5.
caught
Traps
in
at
the
a
traps.
+5. Take off your shirt.
Edward plays music and grants bardic inspiration. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Catherine
kidding.
just starts like like a magic mic routine. And Edward's like, is this how people pray?
That's awesome. He's like,
And
really,
Catherine-
right
Catherine
now? And he
responds,
like,
he's like,
takes off his shirt.
Actually, this makes other people worship
What's your
me.
flex modifier, Cather? Infinity.
Oh my God.
Chat.
If it is what I suspect it is, then my mother might be able to help.
Oh, the Dommy Mommy herself.
Oh, gosh.
Well, it seems that's just going to be more complicated then.
Or my aunt.
That, oddly enough, might be easier. DM, do I know anything about how, like, the customs for communicating with,
With the prime goddess of the pantheon.
Yeah.
Holy crud.
Oh.
This is a big deal.
Yes.
You personally never, met Sarah at all.
Yeah, no.
Obviously, you've met her sister, Adaria.
Yeah.
They're twins.
Yeah. Life and death hidden up,
That's exactly what it is. You would imagine you'd start at a temple.
Okay. Well,
True.
is there... Well, I don't suppose there's one at Athala anymore, isn't there?
No,
The temples
they've
are
been
rebuilding.
rebuilding.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've rebuilt the
The temples have been
that's good.
rebuilt, yes.
Okay.
They took a really long time, which frustrated Edward, but they are
Okay.
complete.
Cather will stand. Well, that went about as well as I expected. However, there is one possible option, but it probably does require us making our way to Athala.
That's to Edward.
That
Oh,
was
assume that
I'm so
sentence
sorry.
was-
I was
Cather
distracted
speaking
by
to
chat.
Edward.
Say it again. I totally was not listening. I heard Athala and looked over.
So, that went about as well as I expected. So
You got a response?
I did get a response. Yes, it was
Nice.
the answer that I figured I would get.
Well, that seemed pretty easy. Oh, what are they gonna do?
Well, not quite. We have to make our way to Athala. I think.
Wait, really? Edward looks happy.
Yes. It seems that I have to attempt to pray to one of the prime goddesses.
Yes, we rebuilt the temples even better than before. I swear they're bigger, and I think they spent more time on decorations too. You're going to love them. Oh, Athala, I can't wait to see it. I'm sure so much has happened since I've been there last. You're sure you have to go
way
there
less
to pray?
of a chance that one of us will get kidnapped and put in a dark room in one of them. Way less. of a
You're sure
chance.
we have to go there?
It seems that it is our best bet to maybe find some answers through means of the gods as of right now.
This is not bad. Plus, it's not that far away. We can use the teleportation circle even. We can go right to the third ring if you want. I could show you around. Oh,
I suppose that would be fine with me if maybe we just check in real quick with the others and let them know that we're going there.
oh my. Wait. I've also been dreading going back. I've been gone for some time. I'm really afraid that they're going to be upset with me. Or that something terribly awry has happened and I haven't been able to know. I left Sam in charge. I think you've met her once. She transferred from,
Yeah,
where's the place, DJ?
Harentha.
Yeah,
Harentha. She transferred from Harentha.
Right, yeah. I met her once. I actually visited Athala. I saw the temples. They look quite lovely.
Oh.
You were busy at the time, though, so I couldn't actually
I'm
say
so sorry.
hi.
And Charles, you know Charles.
Yeah,
He's been kind of running the place while I'm gone.
that's...
Oh, that man has a lot on
seems
his
like
plate.
this is in perfectly fine hands, then.
Oh, and the orcs. We should talk about that sometime. It's been going well, but I'm frustrated. But that's besides the point. Not with them, with everybody else. It's a whole deal. But enough about me. I'm glad you got contact, and hopefully in Athala we can get you talking to the right people.
Right.
In your prayers, of course,
Right,
at the
yes,
temple.
yes. Yes, and then Cather goes back upstairs and tries to find the others to let them know that they're going to Athala quick.
It's
guess.
map time, baby.
It will be time. As soon as we take our break, we'll be back in 10 or 15 minutes.
It's almost map time.
I'm the
baby.
map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map.
I should actually find
I'm
that
the
map.
map.
Yeah, DJ's like, oh shoot, I didn't think that they could do that.
Just like, oh, heck, the plot.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Oh, something that's
In 10 or
integral to
15
someone's
minutes.
backstory.
Don't go
Gross.
anywhere. Drew,
Are we still
already gone?
live?
No, not yet.
Oh gosh, they were probably hearing the stream through my phone. We should go to break.
We're gonna go to break. So long. All right. And we're back. I do think Grant's goal is to get Lydia to choke and to not be able to talk every single time we get back into it again.
That
If
was
we-
dangerous, dude.
If we
I
come
had a
in after
drink.
break, I didn't realize if we come in after break and Lydia laughs, that's success.
Success. So, across the keep, over in one of the studies or Renaya's room, where are you guys? Where you guys go?
Probably Renaya's room.
Yeah.
We
I'm
find-
sitting. I'm sitting like on a chair, but like very gingerly, like you know when you're invited into a room, but like you're still not sure if you should be there, and so you like sit on
It's
the
like-
you
it's
sit
like
on like the
you-
most normal chair, just like real awkwardly.
Yeah, you were
That's
you were
out.
invited into the room, but you aren't sure if you're allowed to sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, "What are you doing? Just sit down," and you're like, "Okay," and then you sit and you're like,
You
So-
three, Renaya, Triple Witch, and Leshka. You guys are looking over some maps, am I correct?
"Yeah."
Nap time.
Nap time.
So, how do you want to go about this?
So when you get to Renaya's room, first of all, she kind of takes the lead, leads you into the room, like gestures for you that you can sit, and then we'll be pulling everything together.
Mhm.
Literally everything, though, like everything she has.
You guys find a litany of papers.
Ooh, a litany. That's a good
There's,
word.
thank you. There is the copy of the map that you guys got with that sort of reveals the location of Justitia, along with the words Ruat, Lex, and Justitia, all that things. The one that you copied from the fire. You have a number of different maps, some torn, some burned, some full maps. From the chest, you also have a number of different documents from the chest that are just random little things. Those don't seem to be quite as important at the moment. Like we said, they are usually like studies on some of the geography and stuff like that, and that's not quite what you guys are going for. But a lot of the maps seem like they could be relative. Yes or not?
Renaya does have them like organized based on categories and how relevant they seem.
Okay.
And she's got like, okay, Renaya's got the equivalent of like tabs and sticky notes and things like that throughout
She's going
a lot
full
of them.
detective mode.
Like it's one step further, and she's got the red yarn and stuff. going, but
So
yeah,
Well, I suppose first thing that Leshka does is he pulls out from his satchel some of the maps and stuff that he has made from his travels, just in case they become relevant.
Okay.
Kind of the maps that he has of the modern age.
okay, yeah. You guys find Leshka pulls out a full map of Telira, which I'm not gonna bother to grab. You then have a full map of the continent. You don't know what it's called, but this is what the whole world used to look like before the trial.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh.
very exciting.
okay.
When
That's
did you-
good.
when did
Screenshot,
you make
screenshot.
that?
Beautiful.
It's for
20 minutes ago.
I made it over the break. It's for when we do our side series, Age of Pandemonium.
Ooh.
Whoa,
So-
name drop.
And by I mean we. I don't know why I said I. So what I think the plan is first off, we want to find what area of the old map coincides with the portion of the map that we have.
Mhm.
And then cross-reference that with what it looks like now to find where that current location would be near
Okay.
in today's map.
That's a good process. Okay. I don't know why I put this map away, as if I was going to now look at it again. So looking at the old map, one of the things that you notice is that the names of the planes are spread across the old map. I'll have all of you make a history check.
24 for me.
7.
Someday I'll roll decent. 14.
but not today.
Numbers.
Double what I got.
Berkowitz, you know
I'm in
that
field.
before the trial, the planes weren't separated into what they are currently. The only planes that existed before the trial, and only after the start of the Age of the Pandemonium, was the Nine Hells and Mount Celestia, as places for Oracle and Asmodeus to reside for all eternity, as either a resting ground for the first dead soul, or as a punishment for the one who committed the first murder. So all the rest of the planes, Archeon, Gehenna, Elysium, the Feywild, Limbo, all those type of things were actual locations on the material plane that after the trial or during the trial were then separated into the different planes to have different places for all the lost souls that were overcrowding the Nine Hells and Mount Celestia. And so the landscape is rugged, it's beautiful, it's terrifying. But looking over the map, you can see that there are places between the planes that don't, quite match the extreme geography that the planes usually have. And you also, looking at the map of current day Telira, you kind of get the inflection that out of what was left of the material plane after the rest of the planes were jettisoned into the astral plane, those pieces of land masses were then what were crashed together to form the current continents. And so it's kind of complicated because you're like, what you're doing is you're trying to find a specific puzzle piece when you've been given an extra 30 and you're not quite sure which ones actually go to the puzzle you're trying to make and which one go to a different puzzle. So it's somewhat difficult.
It's like a 4D puzzle,
but not impossible. We'll start with the first problem, figuring out where on the old map, the map of the worlds during the Age of Pandemonium, where on this map does the location of Justitia reside. Go ahead. I assume that you explain all this to them.
Yes, of course. I'm
Okay,
like,
great.
we're operating with a strange astral Pangea situation.
Yeah.
You understand what that means.
Go ahead. I'll have each of you make individual.
Investigation
with-
checks.
What was that?
Investigation checks, mayhaps.
How about Arcana?
I'll say investigation or survival, as map reading is a survival skill.
Yo, I'm good at survival. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll take the investigation.
26.
Nice.
Give me.
What the heck?
I rolled a 16 and I have a plus 10 to survival.
You have a plus 10 to survival?
Wisdom, my dude.
Holy
Big
crap.
numbers, baby.
I never should let you guys
I
get
got-
trouble.
I got a 21.
This girl's had to survive
So
some
26,
stuff.
stop it. 21, Abby?
15.
15? Okay. Abby, you need to get your bifocals, man. You need to get the bifocals, okay?
I just say to myself, I'm not that old yet. I'm not that old yet.
Renaya. Let's see. Where do I want this to be? I hadn't come up with this, so we're moving on the fly here. So
Wonderful.
give me a second to figure out where this was on the planes. Ooh, I like that.
In the meantime, guys,
Ooh,
if
gotta figure it out.
if you enjoyed what's going on tonight, come back for Table Scraps, where we talk about what happens tonight.
Thursday, 1:30
at-
p.m. CST.
Exactly.
Gotta figure it out.
Hosted by Aaron, sometimes joined by others.
So it's going to be immensely hard for you guys to actually see this, but I'm going to try it. Maybe I'll take a picture.
There's a map.
So,
Map time. Sorry,
Map.
podcast listeners.
sorry, podcast.
Piece of paper. It's big and it's got lines on it.
Lines. Yep.
It's got squiggles,
Yeah.
That forms a
little
picture,
squiggles.
but specifically
Is
a
that
map.
a dog?
Oh my gosh, this is stupid.
No, it's beautiful.
So
Hey,
far,
DM,
so
hey,
good.
DM, do you want me to come over and help you?
Actually, yes.
DJ is struggling with the map,
my gosh,
holding
it's a
it up. It is
crossover
a
episode.
curly piece of
Teamwork
paper.
makes the
It's a
dream work.
crossover.
Drew is
She
leaving his
says.
room and going to his brother's room. DJ, those who had not caught on that they're brothers yet, you're amazed.
Yeah,
They're brothers.
spoiler.
They are in the same house.
They're
And Drew is
brothers.
now entering DJ's screen to help
Crossover
him hold up the map.
episode.
I need you to hold back. Zoom in.
DJ
Zoom in.
and Drew
Get next
McKellips,
close.
Yep,
everybody.
Nope.
Zoom
Zoom in further.
in.
Oh, we're going all the way.
Down.
Yep.
Okay, right there. Okay.
Right there.
Stay. Don't move.
I'm not moving.
So
Oh, nice
that
little castle.
kind of. So this area.
Okay.
Yeah. This
The
is.
river.
Let's see. What's that? Just a second.
You
Back
moved
up.
your hand while you said that. Where is it?
Boy.
This is so funny.
Sorry. This is very low budget.
This looks like a
Uh,
homemade video.
It is.
It is a
It is
So
a homemade
over here,
video.
this whole region is Erebora, and this is the border of Erebora. Okay, as you can see, there are the floating mountaintops. There's the crystal palaces. There's a plateau with the forest on top of it. There's the forest that surrounds all of it. You have, I believe those are.
Hey, podcast
Mini-
listeners, definitely come over and look at this. It's kind of
Oh yeah,
epic.
It's pretty cool, actually.
there's a rugged landscape with a bunch of floating crystals over here, but there is this valley right here.
Not the
Okay.
valley, the
Not the
hidden
valley.
valley.
The crack.
The tomb seems to be right around the split in the valley. You don't know which side it's on or anything like that, but right around that valley, that crater, that canyon basically.
All right.
Walk through the
It's a
valley of the
cave.
Shadow of death.
Also, the
I-
this map
I
is
shall
rad.
fear no
My
evil.
guy,
Thank you.
this is so cool.
I live for praise, so that's why I make my maps.
Oh my god,
I'll-
They do does
I
make a
point this
killer
out to everybody.
it's so rad.
Okay, you gotta move on.
Yes, okay.
I look at it while squinting and go, "Oh yes, of course."
So it's a cave in a valley?
It's a canyon. It's a
In
tomb.
the shadow of death,
It's a tomb in a canyon. Gotcha. Thank you.
like a grand canyon.
But Edward isn't there, so this is your guys' thing.
Sorry, I'm gonna be loud for just a second.
Today.
Okay.
That's where.
Oh, we can't hear
Didn't
it.
hear a
Zoom's
thing. It
taking
was great.
care of it.
Perfect.
Okay. Fantastic. There, I pointed the wrong place on the map.
Now, where is that?
Yes.
Real
It's an
world.
excellent question. I
not
suppose that we
real
will
world, but you know what I
probably
mean.
need to roll
Okay.
some other type of check.
I will have someone make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh!
Dave?
Papa!
Avanthi,
Papa!
go! Avanthi,
My
I choose you!
I delve deep into my soul. I grab hold of an internal die. Oh my! I've been
No!
waiting for this.
I changed my mind. I take it back. You're not
Nope,
doing
it's
it.
too late. It's too
Chestnut
late.
King's blessing.
Okay. So, I'm going to tell you right now the number that I rolled on the die was a 6.
Okay.
As a what?
The total that I get for this saving throw. Let me double check those numbers real quick. I said a 6, right?
Yes.
Is a 22.
Okay.
Oh.
Dumb.
Wait, I have a sound for this.
Well, actually, the opposite of dumb. It's just intelligence.
I use my reaction to give myself an additional +4 to the save. That makes it the
Nice.
22.
So, Avenue. Eventually, your brain kind of connects exactly where they're pointing to. You know, where
Raven,
Is it-
think.
you start going through, and you take the old map of Pandemonium, the age of Pandemonium, and you just like start crossing out areas. You're just like, okay, that's
Whoa,
see,
whoa, whoa.
I would never harm a map, so it's just in my brain.
Okay.
Okay. You put sticky notes on places.
Yeah, cover that up. Cover that up.
As it slowly dwindles, there are general shapes. You know how people are like, yo, Pangea was a thing because like Africa and South America line
Yeah,
up.
they kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of start doing that type of extrapolation. Where you go, okay, like the continent of Telira isn't on this map when I remove all these places. But if you connect these two spots they kind of make the rough shape. And then there's, you know, I'm not even going to get into the other continents.
But start to beautiful minds it.
Mhm.
It's a number.
The issue that you have is that while that valley is left on the map, on your digital rendering of the map, your imaginary rendering of the map, it doesn't match with anything that you find currently on the map of Telyra. I will need you to make a history check with advantage because you rolled well on your intelligence saving throw.
Come on.
It's yeah. I don't suppose that like Leshka could provide assistance.
I already gave him advantage.
But oh, that's fair.
Guidance.
Deal.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
Now would be a good time to get a roll that around like a 15 to a 20.
Oh gosh.
All
Don't
right.
hurt yourself.
Okay.
Just roll the
Alright.
dice, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That will
Stop it.
total to a 25.
It's funnier than 24.
So
Way bad.
I needed a
logical
37.
solution being that this valley isn't on a current map of Telyra or any place that you know of in the world means that this valley was covered up somehow in the geological transformation of the world. It had to have been moved or shifted or something like that. And so you try and start thinking of actually I should say this a little better. So naturally that means it would have been covered up. But as you start putting together the pieces of where the geology would line up and everything like that, you have a vague shape of Telyra, which looks roughly like that. And there's another continent over here, stuff like that. Where the valley should be, there isn't quite one. But relatively similar to it, you know of another valley. And at first you kind of dismissed it because it can't have been the case. On the northern border of East Bravania, the border between La Stella and East Bravania, there lies the Valley of Kings. A crack in the land that was formed by a circle of mages to prevent the Horned Elves from invading their land and trying to assert their dominance during many of the Elven Wars.
Such a
It was kind of
fantasy
their
style
failsafe.
name.
You begin thinking about the level of power that it would have taken for that to work. And go ahead and make an Arcana check for me.
Oh baby.
I'm like right up Triple Wizard's alley, right?
I know. This is my I'm in my I get a passive bonus for being my favorite terrain. That will be a 29.
Okay.
No, it's his own mind.
You quickly realize that the amount of power it would have taken for a group of wizards is nearly impossible to achieve with the current way the weave is set up.
No, that's impossible. The flim flam coefficient just doesn't align.
Unless there was outside assistance from the geography itself, such as a fissure in the earth that was already there at one point in history that had been filled back up.
I suppose if there was a coincidental quasitopple, and it would have been possible to. Frankly, that's just absurd. But of course, well, that's of course the natural geography.
He's just running through the word. It's just word vomit of stuff that's going on. He's like,
Leshka, do we need to do something?
yes.
I think if I am to understand what his word ramble just a little bit, because
You're fluent in this.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you both ramble.
So I think in the Valley of Kings there once was a druid who made a big fissure
Yes,
using
who-
an already existing fissure to end a
jumped-
war.
And the spoon jumped over the moon.
What?
Oh,
That's
yes.
not-
Oh, yes. That was the
that's
most
not-
important part. And the, and
Okay,
and
but-
Pretty
the,
much.
and the
That's not how
Shao
it
jumped
goes.
over the Shun.
Yes, exactly.
This was a
Basically-
mistake.
I'm not 100% sure, but I have a pretty good idea
Question.
that potentially
Okay.
in the Valley of Kings, there's no possible way that any modern day wizard could have just created a whole valley of that magnitude and direction and volume. Unless
Why
there
do you
was
sound like
already-
Vector?
That's
because it
what
was
I was
intentional.
thinking.
That it was intentional.
In both direction,
Direction
and
Okay, so what is
Okay.
happening?
Oh yeah.
Has Leshka been to the Valley of Kings before by chance?
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, I should say that. You haven't been in the Valley of Kings. You've
Wait.
been to the rim,
Yeah.
because that's as close as you're allowed to get.
Right. Well, if we would,
Rules are for people who can read.
if we would like, I could get us
Crap, I
there
can-
pretty quickly.
I mean, we
I-
need to obviously confer. So to sum it up,
Okay.
we've been communicating
Right.
through
What?
word ramble.
You know what?
So,
I don't need to know. I
Valley of
trust you.
Kings
Valley of Kings. That's where we need to
probably,
go. Got it.
potentially,
Cool.
is the place
Great.
that we're looking
Lovely.
Yes, and more recently, I've actually been actually reading a book of Abinthi's that's been quite intriguing.
Yes,
And
yes.
I believe that I
for. Oh, how
could.
far did you get?
I've got about halfway through now at this point.
Oh wow, you're making incredible work.
Yes, but I believe I could teleport us all there.
Ah, yes. Oh, that's a fantastic
That
chapter.
would be nice.
So, we need to conveniently meet up with the rest of the group, who is definitely
At this
not at
point-
all going to be.
Catherine and Edward pop in to let you know they're going to Athala.
Hey guys, so sorry to interrupt. We have to leave and go to Athol quick. We'll be right back, like maybe in like a day.
Oh.
He's got to pray. Well, everybody can come. I'd love to show the progress. I mean, we have a teleportation circle straight there. He's got to pray in the temples, and well, I ought to see it.
We made some progress of our own.
Oh,
we
yes,
need to head
with the
to
map.
the Valley of Kings. We believe that it may be the resting place of the resting place.
Right. Okay.
I'm very proud of that. I came up with that right now.
And where is that exactly?
It's the Valley of Kings.
Edward, you would know the Valley of
It's
Kings.
near East Bravania.
Yeah, it's somewhere in Laconia or something like that.
I see,
It's on the
I see.
map. He points towards the wrong location on the map. It's not even the right map. It's like the Lunaconan Isles. or something like that. I don't even know.
Moonshade Isles.
Yeah, the Moonshade Isles. That's the ones.
All right.
Right. Okay. Well then, do we want to stick together?
Do we want to go as a
or-
group?
Well, I mean,
it
it would probably be best
the
if we all
wiser
went.
choice.
Yes, especially with in case we encounter something dangerous there, it's probably better if we all would stick together.
Now the question is, if your whole prayer situation, do you think that you have some way to deal with curse stuff?
Possibly, yes. I have to go to Athala to talk to one of the prime goddesses in one of the temples there
Ooh,
to
that'll be
try
fun.
to get some answers.
Okay, so if that works out, should we go to the Valley of Kings first, see if we can find the rod, so that way we can deal with the curse, and then
Knock
we just
out
get
two
both of them
curses,
done at
one
the same
stone?
time. Yeah, something like that.
That
Not a bad idea.
is not a bad idea. Yes.
So, to the Valley of Kings, that our
Yes, to
DM
the
has
Valley of
definitely
Kings.
prepared for. DJ's like, yes.
Yes. Frantically starts looking at notes beneath desk.
Goes to DM's Guild. Fast dungeon for level 13 character. Old dungeon magic.
Or you could go to Athala first.
You know, actually, come to think of it, what if the curse debuff is just a passive thing that happens over? Or maybe
And you know what?
she'll
There
just
may
teach
be a
it-
delay.
Yeah, that is true.
If
And
we run
would
out of
have to
time, that'd
walk.
be really bad.
That would be. Yes,
Well,
actually,
if
that's very
Cather
fair.
can get a visage from his gods, then perhaps. They can deal with the
Oh
curse,
yes, and
right?
especially with the teleportation being so
Right.
finicky, we could
Yes.
get trapped for over
And
6 days.
we don't have.
So we
more
should
than 6
definitely go
days.
to Athala first.
Plus-
That's definitely the wiser thing to do here.
Plus, I've given up. I've given
Oh,
up
yes,
a lot of time from Athala
we-
for this.
Oh, yes, you-
It's in my
Guys,
best interest to
Are
at
we
least
sure
check it.
that this is Leshka's last episode? This very much feels like Leshka's not Leshka's last episode.
And Leshka, I'm sure that you have plenty of things to do back at the library.
Well, but see, here's the problem, Aaron. You need Leshka to get to the Valley of Kings quickly and to get out quickly.
Oh,
Oh.
you think that?
All right, let's go.
We'll keep him
to-
along.
Just give us a scroll or something.
We going now?
can't
Is
do
that what
that.
we're doing?
We have a boat. We'll be fine.
I'd like to go as soon as we can.
to Athala.
Okay.
I'm
We
gonna
gotta get
double
this
check the
episode
teleportation
going.
circle to make sure that we're not gonna die.
Okay. Make an Arcana check.
Oh, come on. That'll
And
be
literally,
a
Athala shouldn't take any more than what, a few hours? or something?
31.
Yeah, if at most a day if we want to
No.
be slow with it.
After weeks of brainstorming, of troubleshooting, you finally figured it out. It was the second thing that you thought, not the first one.
Ha! Bamboozlicious! I'm trying out new words.
Basilicious?
That was an interesting one.
Is it a good one? Do you think I should stick with it?
I mean, it's
never
memorable.
again.
Oh,
No,
for sure.
okay.
That is amazing.
It's not even catchy. I couldn't repeat it if I tried.
I mean, it makes it yours. You know, nobody else is gonna steal it.
That is very fair. It's a good signature.
Abinthy,
I
you
figured it
know-
out.
Abinthy,
Yes?
you know as well as I do
What?
how important a good catchphrase is. And Edward winks at him and he says, "You gotta try something new, buddy."
I sure hear me out. I'm running across the rooftops. I throw, I don't know, some form of weaponry.
Okay, are we
And it
going or
hits
not?
someone- Hold on, I've got to finish the story. It hits someone, they collapse.
Okay,
And then
finish it
and then
outside of my
and
room.
Then I say,
She's shoving,
Bamboozlicious!
like, starting to shove everybody out of her room.
And the whole town knows exactly. Oh, yeah, that's
No, it doesn't work.
Do the teleportation circle.
Are you
I'm
guys
getting
starting it?
more and more old
This is
every
Scott.
episode.
Well, Catherine's
Are we
gonna,
going now?
Catherine's gonna take a few minutes, get like his armor and weapons and backpack and all that stuff real quick.
You guys prep. While you prep, Abinthy fixes the teleportation circle.
I don't know how it works.
I do like that it's Morse code though.
Yeah, that's him typing.
After Renaya shoves everybody out of her room,
Uh-huh.
where's Pockets?
Where would you like Pockets to be?
Where's it's somewhere in the room.
Pockets at this point has been hanging like a bat from like one you have like nice tall bedposts. And so he's been like hanging like a bat and just bouncing his head to like swing him around the post. He's bored.
Pockets.
Come.
Come here, please. I need a hug.
He jumps into your arms.
She like gives him a real tight squeeze and holds on to him for a really long moment. Oh, sorry. I'm the strength
Uncle.
thing is still weird. Oh, this is harder than I thought.
As he's filled with like gore and vile teeth.
Stabbing your friends in the back should be difficult, Renaya.
Don't expose me like this.
Abinthy's still in the room. He's like, I knew it the whole time.
And she's just gonna keep.
Delicious.
She's gonna keep cradling Pockets, and we'll head out to the teleportation circle.
Cool. You guys all arrive at the teleportation circle. It's fixed, hopefully. We think. Maybe. And should be somewhat safe to prevent any future splints from happening and you guys dying a horrid death in the middle of the void.
Mhm.
You know, at least hopefully. You guys go through, you set the teleportation circle, inputting
Before
the
we go
individual-
through, just a quick little RP moment. Edward tightens some buckles, dusts some things off, straightens up, and turns to Renaya and says, "How do I look? I haven't been there in a while."
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's move.
Okay.
You guys go through the teleportation
And then we
circle.
go through the teleportation circle.
Tell me, Edward,
Oh, mama.
where does the
Yes.
teleportation circle lead you to in Athala?
This teleportation circle leads to the third ring. This
Okay.
is a teleportation circle used by people traveling to and from that are of high profile, and it's also Edward's personal usage. So
Alright.
it's among the like political people, I guess.
Let's see. We'll put
Like-
it. Let me pull out the third map for this episode.
It could be near the embassy. I'd imagine wherever that is, and I'm not entirely sure if that'd be
What?
the second ring or the third ring.
No, that'd definitely be the third ring.
Perfect.
We'll say it's the Jeep-looking building.
The Jeep looking.
Oh
building?
yes.
There's a collection
That
of buildings that
one.
looks like the grill of a Jeep.
Okay. Gotcha.
Um,
Podcast. He just showed us a little map of Athala.
Sorry for the third map podcast. Maybe I should post these on Discord or something.
That's not a bad idea.
Okay.
Yeah. That sounds like good enough place as any. Sure. Yeah.
You guys arrive on the third ring. For two of you, at least Renaya and Katha, this is the first time you've been to Athala. Probably in a year, 2 years, maybe even the entire time that you guys have been away. I know Katha's visited a couple times, but I don't think Renaya, you visited at all.
She was there like in the very beginning helping Edward, but
Yeah.
after that, no.
It has had a 180-degree turnaround from when you last saw it, specifically Uriah. What used to be a looming city of darkness at the center of this mountain, with almost like necrotic energy like emanating from it, very like Minas Morgul type energy coming off of it. Not that you know what Minas Morgul is, because that's a Lord of the Rings thing, and I'm going to expose you. You haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
Nope.
But
Exposed.
that's
Get her. Light her up.
right.
Wow. That was
We found
crazy.
the one thing wrong with Lydia.
The one thing.
The one thing.
Is that wrong? It's, it's not.
The one
You know,
weakness.
It's
The
fine.
Achilles heel.
That's right. It has gone from that, and even before it was taken over by Prasius and then kind of left into dismay and everything like that. Like the city of Athala wasn't a shining, beautiful, gleaming city.
Ow.
It had kind of a layer of like murkiness to it. Like you could tell that like shady things went down in this city, and the officials probably were in on the shady things. But
Like
it still
Hell's
tried to be
Kitchen,
this
but
shiny.
in Detroit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Sorry for anybody that's from Detroit.
I'm not.
But it is now glowing almost. Not as crowded as it used to be. You also notice, if as you arrive, you look out towards some of the walls. You see probably 3 or 4 miles to what would be the east of Athala is a much smaller but bustling city off in the distance. Probably about quarter to a third of the size of Athala, but is growing rapidly. But the stones have been polished, the streets have been cleaned, the buildings have been maintained and upkept and renovated. But the most shocking change to you guys is across the street from where you would teleport in through the embassy lies a newly renovated and newly restored home of the gods. The plaza that had a temple to each domain, and within each domain it then had individual altars to each god of that domain. You see all of the pantheon-like structures that line the rim of the third ring. You see the grass in front. You see the massive cauldrons filled, or what are the big things of fire? The one that we light for the
Braziers.
Yes, a brazier. Thank you.
Braziers,
Light the beacon.
Yes. these massive braziers in front of each one, much like they used to, except that they're each bigger. They each have more unique details to them, things that are slightly more honoring. You see in front of some of the temples, you see some of the different holy symbols that you recognize, because many of the gods have holy symbols that many of the temples have holy symbols that are different elements of nature. So there's a lot of trees or plants, stuff like that, and many of those symbols have been brought in and planted in front of the individual temples and all that type of stuff. It's very, very beautiful. Yes, Lydia, it is hollow ground.
Oh, what does that mean?
Can you not walk on hollow ground, Lydia?
What?
Can you not walk on hollow ground?
I'm a fiend.
Now, hear me out, Lydia.
I don't think that
I have-
technically means you can't walk
I have
on
a
hollow
question.
ground, but let's...
You can walk on hallowed ground. It
If
will
it's
provide
not-
negative effects.
Yeah.
Lydia, worst comes
I
to
like
worst.
this. I like
don't you
this.
have a spell as an Arcana cleric that can mask
So, like-
what type of thing you are?
It's just for things that like. Well,
It's like
how does it
divination.
work?
It's like it masks her from divination.
It's like
magics.
somebody's trying
But
to
you were able to
detect
pull
what I
yourself off as an
am.
undead, couldn't you?
Let me look. Let me look at.
And
the
we are
details.
technically not in the temples right now as well.
No, you guys are
It's
still
an
in the embassy,
illusion.
but you're looking
It's
across
just
the
an
street.
illusion.
Oh yeah.
It's an
Plus-
illusion of the aura
It's-
thing.
I'm
is
gonna
it
say,
called?
okay,
It's
here's
like-
the
it's
here's what I'll
to
say.
mask her against like.
I mean,
Let's
she
go,
doesn't
Dia.
really plan on going in.
Well, here's what I'll say.
So,
Due to you are technically a fiend, but you're also a high-level cleric of malice.
mhm.
I will say that even if that is technically what normally would happen, in your specific case, you are allowed to walk on hallowed ground, as you are a freaking priest.
Malice can like vouch for you.
Let's go,
Interesting.
Malice.
Oh boy.
Yes.
What up,
They're hanging.
Malice?
So as they step through the portal, even though they get that nauseous feeling or whatever, Edward puffs his chest out, puts his hands on his hips.
Love that
Home.
new Athala smell.
Well, this isn't New Athala, but it is a newer Athala, if that makes sense. And Edward just turns around and spreads his hands out wide and says, "Welcome to Athala. I know many of you haven't seen it since long ago. It's very different. As you can see, we have new temples. You can see the hanging plants, the vibrant colors, the filigree. It's all wonderful. The second ring, a new marketplace. It's all clean again. And even the lower ring, quaint little homes where families can stay. It doesn't feel like it's covered in trash or anything like that. It's quite nice. I'm very proud of it." And Edward just crosses his arms and beams, expecting you all to compliment
Sing
Athala,
his
essentially.
praises.
Yeah.
It is beautiful, Edward.
Yes, it looks quite lovely since at least I've been here last. And Cather will also say, well, there aren't destroyed buildings in it anymore, so.
That is true. That took a long
Cather is
time to
the-
get out.
I love the fact that Cather, the one that'd probably be most excited about this, is the hardest to please.
That was a lot coming from Cather. Edward likes it. Abinthy, are you raising your hand like in game?
Aaron is in
Yes,
okay.
for future reference, because I have a feeling that we may encounter this in the future. It absolutely does work for Hallow to use Nistol's magic aura. You can change the way a target appears to spells and magical effects that
Let's
detect
go.
creature types, such as a
Nice.
paladin's divine sense
See,
or the trigger of a symbol spell.
I could have easily read that. It was just a lot of words, and I decided not to.
That's why I'm here, baby. That's what I do.
Relatable.
So if we ever get to a point where we get to like one of these churches, they're like, "Hold on, gotta
Haha,
make sure you're
bet.
not Satan."
So
You're like,
technically,
"Oh, give
so
me a
actually,
second."
yeah, it does. It is a pass from Malice because it is from Malice.
Yeah.
So
There you
Just-
go.
Bada bing,
Done.
bada boom.
It lasts for 24 hours.
Nice.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
It's not
Edward-
even concentration. You're just like, "Wah."
Edward claps his hands together and says, "Now, I would love to show you the city, but we are on a timer," and he motions towards Renaya, "and so we can make this quick. Cather, here are the temples. You can do whatever you need. All of the priests are quite nice, and they can help you with whatever you need. I have to check in with Sam. I'm sure she's going crazy, and maybe even Charles is in town. And if we were to walk around, I'd probably get caught up with 1,000,001 things people asking me to do. So it might be best if we just stay in the third ring. Anyhow, I'm quite happy you all came. I'm very pleased with it." and we can have a good time. We can meet back here in how many hours do you think you need, Cather?
It won't take me very long, I imagine. Maybe I'd say give me an hour or so, and that will suffice.
Fantastic. Ronaya, do you plan to go with Cather or
where-
Edward?
Where am I needed?
I'm just asking where you want to go because it's probably better for me to not go with Cather.
Yeah, and I
Nothing
disagree.
against you. Yeah, I did legitimately has nothing to do with you.
I hate to split the party again. This just makes the most sense for time, I think.
If it works out all right, perhaps I can go with Edward and make sure that all of his matters are taken care of. Renaya and Abinthy can perhaps explore the city a little bit, see all the new things, and then Cather will be here until we reconvene.
Honestly, forgot that you were two characters for a little while there. I was very confused. That sounds fine.
I'm Leshka, the dragonborn sorcerer, a scholar from the Scarlet
Fantastic.
Sky.
This
I guess
episode is so
Edward reminded me.
scuffed.
Am I needed for curse or no?
That is a good question.
Yes.
I have a feeling that you should go with Cather.
That is
Perhaps.
that is true. If there is a way to deal with the curse right now fairly easily, I imagine Renaya would need to be nearby.
There's no metagaming going on this episode at all.
None at all. That's not what we do here at the Paper Dungeon. It is clean all the way through.
Fully improv. We have no script, people, and it shows.
In that case, I will act as a mediary, and I will maintain a safe, cautionary distance to the temples, and then I will, when I see whatever group gets done first, I will join up with them and then meet up with the rest of them and keep track of everybody. It'll be great. So you guys go
Edward-
do your things. I will be around.
Edward will slip Abinthy a ticket of sorts, more like a pass to a high-end
A carnival?
auction house. It's essentially like admittance to it's the platinum the platinum cranes.
Give me a
12
platinum
cranes, whatever.
card.
Yeah, but it's they have auctions there, and it's like high end. And
The
he
12
just slips
Platinum
it to you.
Cranes does host the most luxurious auctions in the city.
There might not be any going on, but just in case, Edward slips it to you.
Yeah, sure. Yes, I'll be around.
Looks shit.
So, because the fact of the matter is that Renaya and Cather's stuff is much more plot relevant, we're
Yes,
going to do
very
Edward's
important.
first.
Oh, okay. This won't take long.
Get yeeted, loser.
That is not at all what I expected
Then
you
we're
to
gonna
say.
get to
Lydia,
Abinthy. Then we're gonna end the episode.
You gotta save the best for last.
So, Edward,
Also, this is Edward's first time he's been to kind of.
this is Edward's first time in a thought.
Bro, I've been waiting.
Since we
I've
started.
been waiting for an RP moment the whole freaking
Oh, you were
night.
alone with Cather. You just sat awkwardly and glared.
There
at
was a
each other.
motorcycle going, dude. I couldn't
That's
talk.
fair.
We'll make it
Heck
quick
you,
with
Greg.
Edward.
That is
We'll make it
fair.
quick with
That
Edward.
is fair.
Edward. Sorry, Lydia. Edward,
Yes.
you return to your office, we'll say. We'll start with that, making it simple. And you find Sam sitting behind your desk, writing different papers as you walk in. Oh, hello. Welcome back. You were
Sam,
gone
it's so good to see you. How have you been?
It's
Running the city and all. I mean, it's
oh.
you.
I mean, I did, I did my best. I think everything went okay. So far, so good. No riots or things blowing up. But how are you? How is your vacation? How is your trip?
Well, Edward's face quickly changes and he feels like he shows some semblance of guilt. And he's like, look, I'm sorry I was gone for so long. It's been a crazy trip. It turns out there's problems with the Fae, and a lot of things that you probably don't want to hear about, but there could be some big problems coming. Nothing that you need to worry about as of now, but I've rejoined with Renaya and Cather, and, well, somebody named Leshka, and my assistant Abinthy at the keep, and it's just been one thing after another.
Sam stands up and walks around the desk, kind of pseudo cutting you off. We're okay here.
Are you sure?
Yeah. If you need to go do this, you need to go do this. You're not forced to be here. We all appreciate your work, and you're invaluable. But saving the world is a higher priority than saving our city.
Well, I've
And we
been
got this.
worried.
Charles and I, we figured out a system. Not gonna lie, we're getting things
Yes, and,
figured
and
out.
Charles, I know. You two are both sharp as a tack.
What's a tack?
I've just been. It's like something you.
Oh, like a nail.
It's something. Yeah. Yes, kind of, but smaller, like a needle of sorts. With a.
I see.
It doesn't matter. I've been worried sick. I'm trying to decide what the right thing to do is. I don't even know if I should be involved in all of this again. It's just. There's something about it. I can't say no. But Athala needs me, and while I haven't even talked to anybody from the orcs, I miss them. I miss visiting. I miss you and Charles, and I miss the city. And I hope I get back soon. I hope this whole thing blows over and there's nothing that we have to do, but the longer I'm with them, the more it seems that I could be gone for a while.
You have to do what you have to do, and that's okay. Listen, we got it. And she like pats her chest. We got this. We can do it. And then she almost with a hint of sadness, she reaches up and she just puts her hand on your cheek and kind of rubs her thumb over your cheekbone for just a second before giving a brief smile and kind of nodding, and then going back to the desk. Stop it, you three.
Don't let this
All
one
right,
get
well,
away.
stop that. Well, if you are right here, then I'll do what I must. And I would really like a way to keep in touch. It drives me crazy not knowing what's going on here. As far as I know, war could break out. God forbid. He knocks on wood, and he says, and I wouldn't even have a clue. And you could, it's like, I'd imagine it's like what it would be like being a parent and having a child and not knowing where they are. That's how it feels to me.
Get a pair of sending stones. I'll keep one, you keep the other one, and we'll just be able to talk, okay?
Okay. It's a good idea.
Communication is paramount in a good relationship.
Stop that. And I can talk to Charles through you too, which is necessary. I wish I could see him, but I just don't think I have the time. If we start chatting, we'll be, well, you know how we are.
And he's over in New Athala, so you'd have to make your way over there and do all
And
this stuff.
that
so-
is not worth it.
okay.
Okay.
Look, you have to go. I have work to do.
Yes.
It
It was good to see you, Sam.
I will see you later. Yeah. Get those sending stones and give me a call. Okay.
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 I will see you again, and hopefully sooner than later.
Okay.
Goodbye. And Edward
All
leaves. Boom. Done of RP.
Nice.
Also, Lydia, I wasn't trying to call you out earlier. I was trying to make a joke, just so you know. I'm sorry
I
if
was
that
trying
was
to call you
offhand.
out.
Yeah, I know.
Called out.
I knew it sounded harsh. I wasn't trying to be.
Lydia.
I got you. You've
and-
done great. You've done great.
Well,
Good
okay,
cover.
Just for the sake of fairness, Avanthy, is there anything you want to do real quick before we get to the end of the episode?
Go buying stuff.
Okay. What do you buy?
Materials, I don't know, craft
Wait.
stuff.
You go and you restock on somatic components. Awesome.
Work
not
towards
somatic
that
components,
mana pool
just
nonsense.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check for me real quick. This is gonna take literally 2 seconds. So
28.
okay. You find an Aldronite shop.
Wait, I'm a liar. It's a 23.
I'll still allow it.
I thought it was one of my plus 10s, but it's only the plus 5.
Okay. You find an Aldronite shop. It's a subsidiary of
Fad.
Fellows Aldronite Distribution Company. Did I say it
That's
right?
still around?
You still maintain it.
Holy crap.
And the people that ran Othala were in league with your dad, so.
Wow. It's definitely not as big as it used to be.
Oh, no, not at all.
But, huh.
But they
How
still
about
have,
that?
you know, hundreds, if not millions of gold pieces worth of equipment and real estate and all that type of stuff within the Lunacona Mountains to mine this stuff. So it didn't just disappear. That's just bad business, you know?
All right. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I'm for it.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
You do see.
No wonder that's where Edward's getting his money. Sorry. Continue.
You do see that there is a single piece of triple refined violet audronite, which is like, you know, we're talking like, what is it? S tier and then A tier? Is that how it is?
Yeah, S tier would be above A tier.
Yeah. So like S tier would be like moonlight audronite,
Yeah.
triple refined. It's the highest you can get naturally without outside influences.
Gotcha.
It's 15,000 gold pieces for this one piece.
Oh, done.
Great. There you go. You get that. Add it to your list. You probably need like 15 to 20 of these to really get some mana stored up.
Hey, working a little bit at a time. All
Okay,
right.
perfect.
Everything
Great.
is loaded. 15K?
I'm now down to 4K.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And you guys have like hundreds of thousands of gold
Oh
pieces
yeah. We
back
are
holding, so-
set. We
I
are
considered
fine, yeah.
being like, put it on
The owner's
Fellows
tab.
but
no,
I won't.
don't you do
I
that.
would not.
Yeah.
So-
Abinthy would know better, or would he?
with that taken care of, Cather and Renaya, you guys are left awkwardly by yourselves, standing a little ways away from the home of the gods.
Yep.
What would you do?
Sure. I like to imagine like they went off and kind of did their thing to do their things. Cather has just kind of been standing there and hasn't really approached yet. He's just kind of staring, seemingly lost in thought or something. Right. Shall we go then?
Right.
Right.
You don't think this is going to take too long?
I hope not. I think that there's potential that it lasts all of 5 minutes, or there's potential that it takes probably around an hour, I would say, assuming that it goes well.
Right.
Yep.
Well, you take the lead.
Right. Lead. Okay. Cather will begin to make his way over to the temple for Seradol.
Okay. There's not a temple for Seradol.
Well, yeah.
There's a temple for the life domain,
Uh-huh.
which is the prime deity of.
Uh-huh.
You begin making your way over, and in front of this temple, it's a white marble temple, kind of like the marble that comes out of Harentha, gilded with gold accents all around it. Along the base and the top of each pillar, there are little planter boxes outside of the windows to this building that are filled with flowers, and they're also gilded with gold. The roof is if you guys know what a slate roof looks like, it's like that, but it's gilded in gold. It's very bright, kind of hard to look at. Outside of it, around the brazier, you see a number of wildflowers with two sundials on either side of the brazier. You see paper lanterns hanging all around, as well as Atrosil is also a member of the Life Domain. And floating above the brazier is this ebbing and flowing orb of some incohesive material. It's a sort of like almost like liquid sand. It's kind of how you can think of it, kind of floating and rotating with these two floating hands floating around it. As Partum Obis, the creator of Malice, is also a member of the Life Domain. You guys begin moving past and into the inside of this temple. You step into it, and it's almost as bright on the inside as it is on the outside. There's no darkness to this temple at all. There's hardly any shadows, as there's light coming from everywhere and anywhere. And you step in, and much like the old temples, you see three golden statues on pedestals in the center of the Parthenon. You see one of Atrasil, her fair features, her long blonde hair. She's wearing kind of this very, very elegant and simple, almost a sundress type of.
Question: are you talking about for Ceratal or for Atrasil?
Did I say Atrasil?
You did say Atrasil. I was very confused for a second. Excuse
me, for Ceratal. Sorry. The dress flowing in this the dress is literally flowing. It's this golden dress that's literally like flowing in the wind, even though there's no wind throughout here. Same thing with her hair as it gently breezes. On the other side, you see a golden statue of Atrasil. She's in her the form that most people will see her in, where she's standing with a paper lantern in her left hand, her right hand holding the hilt of her two swords, one of the hilts of her two swords, and her long rice hat tilted down, unable to see her eyes as she stands there, very both relieving and intimidating as well. Someone with immense power who is here to help but could at any moment cause chaos and destruction. And then on the other side, you see Partum Obis, also cast in bronze, or not in bronze, in gold, but it very much looks like it was cast using coarse sand instead of fine casting sand. And so his whole body has a grainy kind of texture to it, very similar to the domain that he usually resides in, that of being this vast blazing desert, and so on and so forth. You see his long flowing robes, very almost like Arabic in style. He has almost like a mummy-like wrap around his head, as these different cloths and bandages wrap around his head, leading to this vacant kind of void of a mouth. And these indents for the eyes, but nothing actually there, just indents wrapped around in cloth. And then he's standing just straight up, ever so slightly hunched over, as he rests his hands kind of at a resting position with another one of those flowing orbs of sand in his hands, much the same as it was outside. You see each of these three statues along with different symbolism for each of these different gods. You see tarum trees, you see there are different ravens. There's the ironwood. No, what's it called? Anyway, there's another raven, or a number of ravens that hang around that tarum tree, another symbol of Atrasil. You see vast swaths or these massive bouquets of flowers, each one seeming to have a small orb of light, almost emanating a sunrise coming out of that center of the boutique. You see hammers and tools for forging and stuff like that all over the temple as well. Where would you like to go?
As they enter the temple, Cather, he'll kind of stand and observe all three of the statues, and as he begins to kind of walk around them, just briefly kind of rest a hand at the base of Atrasil's before fully making his way around to the part of the temple for Ceratal.
Okay.
Yeah, are there any people in here right now?
There are a few acolytes,
Okay.
but it doesn't seem to there's any civilians in the temple at the moment.
Okay. And is there's just one like main place to pray, or is there like
So-
several?
Much like the temples were earlier, the statues, I didn't do a good job of explaining the layout, so I apologize. The statues are not just in the center of the temple. There are 3 rooms, one on the left, one on the right, and one on the back. And in front of the large square entrances, which don't have any doors on them, they're just empty voids in the wall, lies the statues for each individual one. And so there are individual areas specific to each of the gods. You go into Saradal's temple, which is obviously much more akin to her symbolism. A lot of the flowers, the sunrise, flowing water, so on and so forth. And there is a general altar in the center of it. You also know that there's a private room as well.
Okay.
Recording stopped.
Oh geez. Don't mind the robot Karen.
Susan, I think we call that voice.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Cather will make his way in and just very briefly ask one of the acolytes if it would be all right if he used one of the private prayer chambers.
You pull aside a younger boy. He looks to be probably 18 or so. Barely a lick of scruff on his chin. Long, kind of like mid-cheek, shaggy blonde hair that should be maintained better, but is not. He kind of looks at you and he goes, I'm not sure. You might want to ask Mother Nkana. She'd be the one to allow that. I believe she's going to be right over there. In fact, yes, she is. She's watering the flowers over there.
Thank you. Yeah, Cather will kind of quickly make his way over there.
Hi.
My lady, terribly sorry to intrude. I was hoping perhaps I could take some time within your private chamber of prayer. If that would be all right.
Yeah. As you approach, you see this woman from behind. She has very, very dark skin and thick curly hair. Not quite in an afro or anything like that, but it's very voluminous and has a middle part that kind of splits off onto the side. I'm not describing the hairstyle very well, but it's much lighter. It's very much graying hair. She turns around and she looks like she's probably 80, maybe 85 years old. She's up there in age, deep wrinkles. She has a film over her eyes, very clearly blind, but a bright smile. She's not hunched at all. She seems to be very healthy, very, very strong. Just her skin very much depicts the fact that she has advanced in age quite a bit. Of course, honey, why don't you come right this way? She then walks you over, pulls out from her robes a golden key and unlocks the door before letting you in.
Mm-hmm. So after Cather and Renaya both get in the room, he'll very quickly kind of shut the door behind them. Okay, let's get this over with. And he will go over and kneel down by the altar.
Renaya does kneel with you.
Do you guys prepare anything for the prayer or ritual?
I mean, do we have anything? Do I have a flower? So that'll be a no.
He picks a flower from a nearby pot.
You go over to one of the bouquets and pull out a flower.
Do we need something like to?
I mean, in hindsight, it might have been a good idea to bring something as like a gift of like, but it's fine.
If you give me a sec, I can take care of it.
You got something?
I mean, I have a pocket.
Okay. Sure, by all means.
Um,
You can.
Definitely summon Satan into this church.
No. Pockets, like, Renaya's had Pockets has been, we'll say Pockets is a mouse.
Okay.
As tribute to our mouse in the house today. But it's going to be a little mouse, and she would have done the aura thing on Pockets, so Pockets could come in.
Mhm.
Okay, Pockets. I know you're really little right now, but is there anything we need specifically, Gather?
I mean, from what I know, like flowers and plants seem to be a big thing from this temple, so I assume that's what Cather would think that they would need.
A flower? Okay.
Other things that you guys know of are just basic ritual things like candles and incense and all
I have those.
We have those. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Pockets, do you have like a flower tucked in like with you in one of your many dimensional pockets? Do you have pockets?
I wonder. Let's see. Does Cather
Roll a
have
percentile
does
dice.
Cather have the spell create flower?
Does Cather have druidcraft? Did Cather go druid?
No.
Pockets turns into a flower.
No.
That would be a 50.
Okay. Okay, great. That's a 50-50 shot. Odd or even.
No pressure, Renaya.
Even.
DM is rolling.
6, sure. Yeah, he pulls out. It's not quite dead yet, but he pulls out this little faint daisy. It's missing like 3 of the 8 petals. It's kind of bent over a little bit. The leaf is torn just a hair. But he pulls out a little daisy.
Pockets. I kiss his head and then I give the flower to Cather.
Great. Well, maybe she'll think that it's a gift from like a little kid. He'll set it down on the altar along with some of his own incense and candles and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and he'll just again kneel down and just quietly say, not quite just talking to himself, since Renaya is kind of there to help kind of pray with him, so to speak. But still in kind of a fairly hushed tone, he'll say, My Lady Sardal, I humbly present myself before you. My name is Cather Ebenthar. I'm joined by my companion and friend, Renaya, and we are deeply in need of assistance, as the world seems to be in danger from threats of Fae and other outer planar beings. We are seeking a journey to help protect this world, but to do so, we need assistance with finding a way to break a curse, a very, very powerful and old curse. One related to that of the Rod Ruat and its kin. Any help that you can provide would be most helpful.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage because you got Renaya there helping you out.
Math. Are you muted?
Okay, that's for that.
Oh no,
I wasn't actually talking Grant. No, that is a 23.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Help, Dad, please. Dad, we need help, please.
Father.
We're dying.
Father, please.
Papa.
I can still hear the screams, Papa.
Zaddy.
Oh my God. Shh, let him talk.
Zaddy?
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, I have to make jokes to lighten the tension because I feel
It's so
anxious.
funny.
The infamous Cather Ebenthar in my temple.
Yeah, I know.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, young mortal.
Is that so?
And you guys, you're trying to be.
By the way, Catherine isn't saying any of that
eyes
out loud. Like, he's
closed,
just
head
thinking it to
bowed,
himself,
whole 9
yeah.
yards. And you both feel a gentle hand on your backs of just this woman who's come to stand behind you and just making you aware of her presence. Please stand.
Cather rises.
Before you do see the depiction of Cyril. Like I said, she's very, very fair skinned, with very fine features. Almost fragile looking. Delicate is a really good way of putting it. Almost as delicate as a small flower. She has thick, voluminous golden hair that is ever so slightly flowing, even though there's no wind, almost like a cape of billowing. It's ever so slightly.
She's
she's wearing
hair of billowing.
Yeah, she's got hair of billowing. And then that's Triple Witch's upgrade to his cloak.
It's actually what his cloak is made out of.
And then just an extremely
It
simple
was so
and
difficult to get that.
fine dress.
After Cather does stand and turn around, he does give a slight bow in respect. Thank you for hearing us out, my lady.
I cannot refuse those in need. However, I fear what you tamper with.
I mean, that's fair. We're kind of free to do.
And she comes over to you, Renaya. And she gets down on one knee, just in front of you, and grabs your hand and puts it between hers and looks up at you. My child, you have a darkness that looms over you. A seed of revenge in your heart. I fear where it will take you. And this rod will not serve the way you hope. It will not cause the end of Baphomet. It is not its purpose.
But we can't hear you, Leah.
I'm sorry, I'm an old lady.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then what am I supposed to do?
You need to go down to the dungeon, farm the goblins a little bit for XP. Once you get to about level 18,
Gosh darn it, Drew.
you will
Right now.
be strong enough to. Yeah.
Drew? I
Go to
will
the
kill
online
Cather
forum to
again.
ask for a parry,
You will
carry.
sure try.
I wish I had answers for all questions. What you choose to do
With
is your own.
nothing.
This rod is dangerous, however. It is. Roll. Roll a persuasion check.
Come on.
Persuasion
come
check
on.
out of your
Come on.
Does Renai have advantage because Cather's there?
Take off your shirt.
Take off your shirt, Cather. Do
Immediate
it.
plus 30 if Cather takes his shirt off.
It's a 19.
Okay.
It's pretty good, DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guidance yourself? Do you have
Can't she do that?
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
dear God in someone else's temple?
Okay, that's a dirty 20.
Okay.
Better is better.
Shh. It is not the rod of Ruat, but Ruat is a part of it. One of 7. The rod was the instrument of the trial. It is what caused all of the death and destruction, and laid waste to this land. Its pieces were scattered amongst the material plane, given to different groups and races and peoples, and hidden away where history would forget them. Whoever collects those pieces has that power. And while I cannot stop you from collecting them, I can beg that you cease that mission. It will not bring you the peace that you look for. However, I will not lie. The end of Baphomet is a goal I find admirable. He is cruel and evil, and he is the darkness that resides over this world, almost as dangerous as Asmodeus himself. I do not know how to kill him. He is older and more powerful, perhaps, than even I. For some reason, my mother did not see fit to see him end. Or perhaps he escaped our judgment, I do not know. But I will give you this. And at this point, she takes her hands away. And in your hand is a small glass orb. Inside of it, you look almost like a marble, slightly bigger, like probably the size of like a cherry or so. And inside, you do see a field of wildflowers, a blanket laid out atop some of them, and a small picnic set up. Cheese, wine, crackers, the whole nine yards. I must thank you. Your love has turned the hearts of something cruel and made it into something kind and generous. You may use this orb 3 times before it will break. It's all that I can give. But you will be shielded from Baphomet's eyes when you and Gratz spend time there.
Does it get rid of the curse?
My lady, if I may be so bold as to ask, do you perhaps have at least some guidance as to what we should do next in our hopes of saving the material from what it faces with the Fae and its allies?
I fear a storm coming. I do not know if it ends with the destruction of the material plane, but they wish to bring their will upon it. I do not know how they intend to do that, but there are many players at large. continue your search. Continue your quest. Find their intentions. Find their plans. And stop them. As for this, and she ever so slightly raises her hand, and as she does, there's almost unconsciously, or not unconsciously, subconsciously, Rihanna, you also raise your arm to kind of match to display your 2 brands that you have currently. You both have been bound by the rods. You know what it calls for. And you know that every part of it calls for this now. As one last
What'd you say, Cather?
Drew's just kind of whispering to himself, you know. I just prefer not to deal with that.
Gotcha.
The whole dying thing.
As one last gift, I will free you from the bond of legs. But do not go searching for more. I will not free you again. And I beg you, if you do find yourself bound once again by one of the 7, do not give in to its temptation. Do not heed its whispers. No one deserves to die for your mistake. And at that point, she reaches over and she just presses your thumb into the brand that has whatever it is. I think the 5 lines in it.
5. Yep.
And it glows for just a second before she removes it, and that brand is gone.
Lovely.
Nice.
At that point, you also feel in your pocket
Benson, no.
A Werther's original.
there's a slight
Benson.
deflate in
Benson.
your pocket.
Benson.
It just leaks. It just leaks into her
Now,
pocket.
Ew,
see, here's the
no.
question. What happened to Lex?
Like, she's still there. She didn't have it on her. It's back in her Rock Ross.
It's in Rock Ross. Okay.
We got 2 rods, baby.
Now we just need to find the
not
other
quite.
5.
Let's ignore the
We don't
goddess
quite have
and
we
get
don't
all
quite have
the
2
rods.
It's not like she gained power over Lex.
We don't know that.
Unless
We can try touching it again.
I'd recommend not.
So anyways,
I fear this is all I can do for you. And you, she turns to Cather. Be kind to my niece. She is more broken than she shows.
I will do what I can.
Keep up the good work. She points over to you, Renaya. You're doing good. Better than you think you are.
Thank you.
Somewhat sheepishly, Cather will look to Renaya and kind of sigh to himself. 1 second, I gotta roll a thing.
it better not include math.
Okay, great. And he'll again look to Cyrodiil. For the sake of the world, do you feel it best that I try to reclaim what I lost? In your wisdom. .
you would be welcome. But it has always been your choice. My sister misses you. But she respects the burden. You do not need it. But I would consider. Either way, you are still you. And you are still worthy.
Thank you for everything, for all of this. This is more than I could have hoped for.
It is my pleasure. It is what my mother would have wanted.
Cather will give a kind of a bow.
She, you give a slight bow while Renaya, you look, and she just kind of reaches out and caresses both of your cheeks, kind of like she did with putting her hands on your back, but just at the same time, she kind of just like a mother looking down at two small children. She just like kind of like, you guys are great, before disappearing, turning in and disappearing behind one of the pillars.
After that, after she leaves, Cather looks back up and turns to Renaya. We'll find a way. I'm sorry. The wind is still I think is outside. It makes it harder to hear sometimes.
We're in a cave.
That's why I said outside.
I don't know if we will, Cather.
Naya, I think if anyone is going to find a way, it is going to be the one. It is going to be the one person who is from the beginning chosen to be who she wants to be. And who has never, ever chosen to be something that somebody else wants her to be. And you aren't alone. Edward is right behind you. Abinthy seems to have a good head on his shoulders. And while I cannot say I'm the man I once was 3 years ago, however broken it is, you still have my sword.
That's the thing, Cather. That Renaya isn't here anymore. She hasn't for a while.
But is she lost? For good?
She was taken.
That
And
means
I don't think I'm gonna be able to get her back.
perhaps not on your own.
When you all left, I had so little. The few things I had had before were taken, forgotten, lost. And then I lost my best friend. And it's hard to see you and Edward here without him. And then you all had things to do. And you left. And then I left. And just when I thought I had something again, I lost it all. And then I lost me. So, forgive me for not being the bubbly Rennie you wanted.
I don't want the bubbly Rennie. I just want the real Rennie. Whoever that is right now. None of us are the same, Renaya. I think all of us are different in far more ways than we ever expected. When I left, I at first thought it was a sense of duty to my people, to what we had lost. But the longer it went on, I realized, while it is not easy for me to communicate long distance like you, it's not impossible. And yet I didn't reach out. I wasn't there to try to lend my support. And I did so out of shame. Countless times while we would have been together, I have failed you, Renaya. Just as I failed Edward. And especially as I failed Tarak, Havel, and Melora. And I'm not the Cather that led Fate's Gambit. I figured Fate's Gambit was better off without me. After all I did was lead us into a fire. So no, I don't expect you to be the bubbly Renaya that you maybe used to be. Because I'm not the leader that I once was. The confident, strong leader. Before you stands as simply a broken man who knows one thing left. That he will never be able to just stand by and watch as the world and his friends cave in and die. Even if it's folly, he will do everything he can to his bitter breath. Because he spent far too long doing the opposite. And you're not the only one seeking to regain something, Renaya. As he says that, he actually will unsheath his blade just enough, and not fully, but just enough that you see that the blade itself is actually broken. Snapped near the hilt. Kind of this jagged line that separates the hilts from most of the blade. And he kind of puts it away. But that's why we're all friends. All of us are broken. I'm trying my best to put on a brave face for you right now, but I am terrified right now. Terrified that I won't get to see that bubbly and smiling Renaya again. Terrified that this city and all the hard work that Edward has put in will get torn and razed to the ground. Terrified that my life's work of redemption will end in failure, as it has so many times. But I will simply go insane if I focus on all that. I have to take it one day at a time. Believing, trusting that the only reason anything exists in this world today is because somebody chose to make it so. So why not I? So, all that long-winded and saying, I don't expect you to do anything, Renaya. I don't expect you to be anyone other than who you are right now. Just as long as you're still my friend.
I don't want to lose another friend.
Neither do I.
I can't lose any more.
I know. I know. What did DJ do?
DJ,
Did DJ ruin the
get
moment?
out of
Nothing.
chat.
Nothing.
What is he-
He
what
wrote
is-
something
what is
in
he
Zoom
doing?
chat.
No.
You guys are doing so good. Literally,
Come
this
on,
is
man.
fantastic. You got. Keep going,
Alright.
guys.
Well, Renaya starts to you see her move a little bit, but then stop. So what do we do now?
Well,
Kiss. Just kidding. I'm sorry.
First-
Sorry, keep
We
going.
literally just
I
went
know,
off on
I
DJ.
I'm
At least mine was in the
sorry.
chat.
And then you turn around and
Sorry.
you do it
Going.
out loud.
On all sides,
I think
hyenas, wolves, waiting for your greatest weakness to show.
I am going to murder you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Keep going. I'll mute myself.
first, I think we find the others. After that, well, after that, I'm not entirely sure. But I imagine, oddly enough and semi-conveniently, there will be something for us to do, given perhaps by a higher power that even we don't understand in this world, that will provide a doorway for something for us to do in approximately 7 days.
Nice.
So we leave the temple and we go find everyone else.
That was a
There you
fourth
go.
wall break.
You guys begin to exit out the back way. I'm sorry, Aaron. We'll hear. What do you want to do, Aaron?
I was just going to suggest a fantastic little end as this really dramatic moment ends, as they leave the temple and they find Abinthy with Edward and Leshka, and Abinthy has like 4 shopping bags and a bag of roasted almonds that he's sharing, and he just goes, "So, to the Valley of Kings?" It just fades to black.
Beautiful. We like it. It does just fade to black. You guys step outside. You see Triple Wits. He says to the Valley of Kings, and that is where we will step off for the rest of today. That'll be the end of our episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Those of you who stuck around, it was great. We had a great time, I think.
Man, yeah, it was great. It really was. You guys killed it at the end there, dude.
Well done.
Oh,
You all
gosh.
killed me. I'm dead. I'm so. Oh my goodness.
We love
That's
you guys
the
very
Rennie
much.
we all
Appreciate
love.
you guys watching. Come back on Wednesday night to see episode 2 of Between the Rows, Sins of the Father. It's a good one.
Sins of the Father.
It's when we fix our mistakes in the first episode. And then
And
come
you
back
know when it
Thursday
gets hurt.
afternoon for Table Scraps as we talk about this episode. We talk about the BTR episode. And then, like we said, for our Patreoneers, releasing Friday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Go check out the very, very fun, very goofy duo shot between Avanti Triplewitz and Edward and Fellows as they go and they have a little bit of a heist, maybe?
Uncut,
Ooh,
unbridled,
maybe?
unchained,
Patreon?
unbound. Things get wild and saucy with the crew.
We love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Shout
Last but
out
not
to
least,
Dream for the face reveal.
Whoa.
what?
Way to
Nothing.
date this.
Keep going.
We love you guys. Go check out Miss Manuscripts. Okay? Go
Yes.
check them out. Give them some money. Then go to
Donate to Jasper's Game Day. It's a really
Jasper
good,
Game Day.
it's a really, really good charity.
and that's where you donate your actual money and then just do the 150 for the
If
whatever.
you're still watching, comment below.
Smash that like
Fallout
button.
forever.
We're gonna end right now. All right. Good luck and Godspeed, Dungeoneers. We love you guys. Before this
Yeah,
gets
everybody.
too
We
scuffy,
will
so long.
see
Have a great
next
night.
week. Woo.